Hey everybody, welcome to a special episode of Tales from a Professional Nerd. This is our Gen Con replay of the Spelljammer charity event. It's a really long video, and my video guy says that there might be a couple of spots in it when the memory card needed to get flipped or anything like that, so there might be a couple of hiccups in there. But you still get the gist of how this thing went. We had a blast. We had a great time. I'm not gonna because this video is so long. I'm not gonna give the This Week in Brian. We're gonna catch up about Gen Con and all the rest of what I've been doing in next week's video. I just really want to get this put together so you guys can see it and hopefully enjoy the craziness that we endured, and maybe help spread the word that we need to do more of these kinds of things. And let me know how things go. We'll see you after the show.
Get him now!
So both is going.
There's no gnome who's gone before.
As a side note.
No, the gnomes are very special.
5 people.
Alright.
You brought the button. Why have to?
Thanks very much.
My buddy was trying to convert it.
Where's the token of my appreciation? And then inspiration for the game.
Here's an interesting proposition.
And then
Dragon through? You just have him as like dead weight?
Power.
You know what? What do you think a 6th level artificer is worth? To the lever. I will run him as an extra friend. He might be quiet, but every once in a while he'll pipe up. He'll definitely be quieter than Francisco Sunset.
I love Francisco Sunset.
Sure,
It's my favorite.
I'll try to stay
Everything goes to God.
stay out of your way.
He's doomed.
Brian, thank you for bringing
I
back.
appreciate it. That way I don't kick your tripod. That'd be bad.
Hey, Brian. Brian, thank you for bringing back Francisco Sunset.
He never went away.
All the hiccup.
Alright, so for the people who don't know about Spelljammer, basically it's a really old D&D setting where...
Who you calling old?
Myself.
Spelljammer.
that's fair.
Where they decided, back in the day, TSR decided that they were going to create D&D in space. And rather than it just be, here's this rando world, they did a whole setting, genre, story about it.
That's not why they created it, sir.
Continue, Alex.
So, back in the 90s, there was multiple different worlds that you could go to, but they weren't connected. Of course, they wanted to find a way to bring them all together. So they created a space theme that allowed you to traverse between all the different worlds. Thank you very much.
Fast forward 10 years, and they had created multiple worlds that were not attached to Spelljammer because they no longer were writing anything. Like things like Dark Age and Dark Sun and
they replaced it with Planescape.
Yes.
Because Planescape is evil.
How dare.
So basically, they created a very they created a really cool world that basically created all of the different D&D realms, Dragonlands, Forgotten Realms, Greyhawk, and they turned them into their own little kind of world spheres. And the spheres float around in what's known as the phlogiston, which is effectively space view. And like you can get deeper into that, but it's space view. And it's not like regular space. It isn't like, where there's this vacuum or anything. They're not going to get sucked out into space. You literally on a mystical ship that's floating through this goo. from one sphere of space to another. And there's a species called the Arcane, these giant tall blue aliens, for lack of a better term, that created a way for you to steer these ships using it. And the ships, I've got a picture of a few of them. These are old things, so the stats don't matter. But like, they looked all fantasy-like. You know, they were. This one is what the Worm Star, their ship, looks like.
My ship, really.
I can almost see you sitting right there. But there are other ships. There's ones that look like squids. There's a whole race of people that have like these creepy, spidery-looking ships that fly through space. It's a really, really out there setting, very Flash Gordon-y feel, like just crazy things.
The best setting.
It is literally one of the best settings, and there hasn't been a Spelljammer anything official in what, 20 years? Almost?
Pretty much.
Yeah. And
Because we were too busy making Eberron the actual best one.
What was that?
So that's because we were too busy making Eberron the actual real best one.
Can we take points away from people?
No, but you can remember what he has said and then bet against him.
There's a reason why your artificer isn't here anymore.
Where's your drawing?
Oh, did I not put mine up? Okay.
You get a job?
You just put it in a straight.
I can do that.
Because I'll forget they're there and then eat them.
We are.
Thirsty fat guy girls.
And because of the Emerald comment, there's one for me. I can buy into.
Did you just pay yourself for that one?
No, I just PayPal them $20 for it. Check your PayPal, it is actually there. I just,
My phone went off and I'm ignoring it.
I just PayPal'd you $20 for this,
All right.
for the benefit of screwing with you all.
How dare you? He already took his side?
No, he's gonna make me re-roll things. I guarantee it.
Okay.
Oh, we don't know about this. But I do take bribes.
No, no.
Hence the giant jar of green right there.
So,
I'll come see you tomorrow.
I would consider a goldfish. Is that a good
you can't put goldfish in the jars.
No, don't take a goldfish.
Alright.
So,
Take food from
the
someone.
reason I wanted to do this thing is because it has been a really, really long time since Spelljammer has done anything official at all. And with things like the DM's Guild and Adventurers League and all this kind of like forward D&D, like D&D really has kind of taken a new stance, you know, in the industry. And I think that now is a good time to remind people that there are some really cool, crazy stuff out there, like Spelljammer. And so, because I like the cool and the crazy, I started putting this together. And I reached out to some of my fellow industry friends, and I'm going to let them introduce themselves and their characters, and then I will introduce myself as I am not as important as they are. And,
Well, that's true.
Shut up, too. And then we'll get started, and we'll see where the Worm Star takes them.
Hope it's somewhere cool and we don't have to go in the goo.
Oh, we're going in the goo.
The last line.
Alright, should I introduce myself?
Absolutely.
Hi everybody, I'm Darcy Ross. I'm from Monte Cook Games and I'm their Community Relations Coordinator or staff extrovert. So I love talking to demo team people and fans. I was a big fangirl of Planescape actually, which is why I loved Numenera because it has a lot of that same science fantasy weirdness. And so we're going to fight this out over here at some point, I'm sure. But I'm
Should be sitting on a helm doing nothing.
I'm going to be playing Ledwin Teisel, the Helm's Elf who sort of has a mysterious past and I'm pretty sure like pissed off the Lady of Pain and somehow got herself banished into Spelljammer space and is currently the giant battery for the Worm Star as her warlock energies let her feel throughout the ship and help sort of control and access its controls through the helm. So I've got a wonderful person here who I'm sure I can rise to fill, my enormous shoes once I eventually get back to face.
Sure. Absolutely. My name is Sarah Moore. I work on World of Kelvia with Peter Exton. I'm their social media princess as well as I'm an actor in the live action parts and I host all of their parties and if any of you are free tonight at 10 p.m. we're having one in Peter Atkinson's suite in the Hyatt. I'm would be the one front in a fancy dress. Okay. And I'm playing Celeste Mothstock, who doesn't have a job on the ship. And that's all I'm going to say about her.
Oh boy.
Who are you again?
Who knows?
Who knows? Nobody knows. I'm guessing it's a white one. My name is Alex Abrate. I am the CEO of Level Up Dice and also the crazy guy that comes up with all the new dice ideas. It's a tiresome thing, but someone's got to benefit from it. And tonight I am playing Sir Warren Grace, who has a very distinct, depends on the day, metal arm that is a living metal, so imagine Terminator 2, but more awesome. And we will find out a lot more about what this arm does, but in the meantime I'm also the healer on board and the master of arms.
That's clever.
My name is Rudy Rudenberg. I am the co-author of Wayfinder's Guide to Eberron. I am Durnan for pretty much anything that has D&D attached to it. What else? Oh, I'm a voice actor, a writer. And I'm the person that benefits from Alex's ideas.
He looks good too.
Who are you playing?
And I'm the
Oh my God!
Who I am is all that's important. The character second.
Master Hossenbach, Ragrum the Third, rather ships my master at arms, and sing-songer. Sing-songer!
He looks like a hippo.
Talking about blunderbuss.
Perfect. I'm Rick Ankney. I am the production manager for Sapphire Studios, which is a part of Diamond Comic Distributors and Alliance Game Distributors. I am also the production manager for all Game Trade Media, content, and a personality on all that craziness that happens there. I am playing Yeoman Theon Fraister. I am a Ranger Scout who grew up, and by Ranger Scout I mean I did get all my merit badges and I did get all my, my rights to use a knife. And I'm from Faerun, I'm from the Forgotten Realms, and now I find myself in space thanks to this wonderful crew that saved me from a bunch of Neogi, or Neogi. How do you say it?
I've always said Neogi.
Perfect.
Yoki. Yogi. Giant.
And I also have a pet.
Potato dumplings.
I also have a beautiful pet that is the size of a cow by way of space hamster.
So, you'll note that by Rudy's his character, Master Ragran III is a GIF, which is a Spelljammer race that are 8.5-foot tall hippo people with a penchant for things that explode. Theon down at the end, he mentioned his pet hamster. There is a race of basically livestock labor hamsters created by Space Gnomes called giant space hamsters.
Move!
And you milk him once a week, right?
Howler is his best friend. I am Brian C.P. Steele. I am a freelancer that will do just about anything for anything in games. I've done marketing, I've done voiceover commercials, I've done writing, designing. Pretty much, if it can be done, I try and do it. Today I am the DM, so I get to be everybody. And initially, I will be the captain of this crew, Captain Francisco Sunset. Francisco Sunset is to everyone else a no, but anybody who has more than 60% vision knows that he's a goblin wearing a really terrible costume. He has been the master of the Wormstar 2 for as long as Lenwyn here has been involved, and he is a fine captain, and all he wants to do, really honestly, is to save the universe one planet at a time. He's a goddamn hero.
Are we reading the same thing?
Propaganda. All right. right, so, I'm also, because of the generous donation from the gentleman in the back, I will also be partaking occasionally as Galaraxius, a draken, which is basically a big dragon centaur, who is the ship's engineer. He's an artificer, he builds a bunch of stuff. Basically, good friends with Hustenbeck over there. Because he likes to make things go below, and I like to put them together, and sometimes they do go explode, because I'm not 100% sure that what I did was gonna work. But let's see how it goes. So, are we ready to begin? Everybody got all of their tokens that they want for screwing with my players?
Of course. Or screwing with you.
Can you guys hear us okay, or do we need to have the mics on?
Does anyone need to close the door?
No,
We
you
had
can hear
one
us.
little baby echoey thing, but I'm cool with that.
Do you want the mic on?
I don't know if we're wired for it.
We're not gonna need him.
Definitely not.
Okay, yeah, I think we're good.
Unless you do your booming voice.
Do we need to explain that?
So our story begins with the crew of the Wormstar 2 all sleeping soundly, with the exception of Owen, who doesn't really sleep, she just sort of hangs out on the chair. And the klaxons go off immediately. But it's the 2, 3, 4 short bells, which means it's time for a crew meeting. Francisco would like everyone to gather.
Yeah, okay.
It looks like a hand.
Come on! Come on, sit down.
I roll over in my bunk.
I get dragged out of my rack by Howler, as it would be the norm. For some reason, Howler likes you.
Where are we meeting?
There's one giant table.
Can you say that homeroom again?
What?
Can you say that homeroom again?
The homeroom?
That homeroom.
No.
Good.
No one meets.
So we're not having the That's good.
No.
Good.
Well, she will be able to join us. We'll just have to be in stationary,
Fake
chilling out in the flooders.
I'm gonna go perch on the table.
People eat there.
Yeah.
It's gross.
I don't
I'm not a
know.
fan of that.
Theon, go get Ragnar. We need him.
All right. So I will go get him and bring him up.
Excellent.
I send the hamstring.
Not anymore. Get away from me, you beast.
And he grabs you by the ankle and starts pulling you out. Come on, you gotta go. You
I'm
gotta.
8 foot tall
This is the size of a cow.
hippopotamus.
Get out of here.
You're saying it to the hamster?
Yes, go. Go.
I'm saying it.
The elf?
I don't need you.
And you're not coming.
I'm not coming. I'm going. This is my meeting.
Oh.
He's there. Go get Ragnar.
All right.
Do your job.
So we go. So the hamster and I go. We get Ragnar. Like I said.
Hamster goes with.
Yeah.
Howler has no interest in going in Ragnar's room. It smells 100% of black powder and soot and booze and everything that your hamster is against.
Well,
We'll just leave that.
well, we also know that he probably doesn't like to sleep in a wet bed. So I will walk in and be like, "Kasploosh, time to go. You gotta go. Let's go."
I'm a frickin' hippopotamus. Waterbed.
Or it is now.
Like, we gotta.
Single malt.
What?
Single malt.
How many of these do I have to buy for you and bring to you just to get you out of bed?
Atomic
this
cup.
meeting yet?
I grab it.
We should just get started.
Yeah. Don't see
I come out, but I am only carrying a single malt
Ugh.
shot. Nothing but my hippopotamus.
Gross.
Please take your seat.
Oh, and my monocle.
At the far end of the table, please.
You do that.
I'll stand.
No one wants to open.
I'll stand too.
Doesn't the
She stands, the whole ship lurches a little as it suddenly kind of tilts and goes into, you know, that kind of seesaw, that sort of sea wave that everything happens in the weird gooey space not the Flatuson's made of.
I fall on my hippopotamus.
That's going to be the running gag, isn't it?
No, we're
Make a note, shoot him in the butts. I can see that it's already affecting you.
Where are you looking?
What?
Slept in because of the nightmares. We're getting far closer to the Dread Nebula than I would like to.
I recommend everyone stop sleeping immediately.
I don't know if that's a good idea.
Works for me.
But you're so sad.
Sad? I'm extremely powerful. This is my powerful face.
No.
What's happened to me? Dread Nebula, nightmares, of course.
Yes. So, I've been told that just on the outskirts of the Dread Nebula, which we're not going into, I promise. In no way, shape, or form are we going anywhere near the Dread Nebula, as that it is a terrifying, terrifying place, and is where nightmares are made. I'm not lying. I am exaggerating.
Oh, so it's not quite as scary as you say it is.
Yes, it is. You are brave.
I'll take it.
But there is a pirate cruiser that has been seen dipping in and out, which means they've been weakened by all the nightmares, of course. And I believe, if everything can be understood from my rumors at last port, that we should investigate such a we should save the locals from these horrific bandits. I don't get as much. Not
Will we
Now you're saying,
help out the deck?
first you said pirates, now you're saying bandits. What are you dealing with? And who are these locals?
Well, don't mind the locals, but the bandits and the pirates are the same folk. It's just a matter of whether they're in space
Or walking down the street.
or. Are you a highwayman if there's no highway?
Yes.
Exactly.
And the locals again? I'm taking notes.
Never mind this one. No, there's no need to have a record of the locals. Just trust in your captain.
But you said we should protect the locals. You said over here, 2 lines ago. And then you said, forget about the
It's
locals.
the nightmares. We're getting too close.
What have you dreamed of?
Scary things. Tall things. Things that can eat my body.
You sound true.
Thank you, Celeste. I like being backed up by my crew now and again. So, can you hear them, the pirates? You know what? Let's go ahead and have you go ahead and throw me a perception test. As you reach your brain out to try and hear the sounds of other Spelljammer elves.
Is this one that is augmented?
I don't believe so. Or if it is, it'll be listed on your skill bonus.
No.
Oh boy!
No, I don't.
Naturally.
I don't even know where I am.
So you don't hear
Anything.
you don't hear the other ships. What you do hear,
Because
however,
he keeps moving his arm.
is Warren's arm.
God.
He hasn't even realized it, but it is drumming his fingers, and that sound, that rhythmic thump, 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 even when he stops.
The master is coming. Stop.
Trick. But no, you do not hear any other Spelljammer elves nearby. So, we should be able to reach where I know that ship will be.
In the nebula?
Outside the nebula.
Outside
We're not
the
going
nebula.
in, I keep telling you, trust me.
There's a nebula.
There is a nebula. Sir Grace.
So there is a nebula.
I never said there wasn't, yeah.
So there's not.
Are we going somewhere?
I was hoping.
To defend the locals.
To get paid on it.
There are no locals, Theon. I paid for this information.
You paid when I was getting paid?
There's a ship outside of the Dread Nebula that's filled with pirates. I would like to go to it. I would like to find it, and I would like to take all of the stuff off of it.
Then why didn't you say that?
You're no coward!
Pirates need to be eliminated, yeah.
But yeah, if you had led with the bougie, like you did
when you started to pack your bags,
Right.
I relabeled all of the potion bottles.
What?
Again,
We're dealing with pirates. They could come steal our things.
I just relabeled them from the last year.
No, so all of your curing potions are now labeled virulent poison. All of the poisons are labeled drinkers.
Are you sure you made everyone? Are you sure you didn't confuse any?
Remember
last time?
I'm very diligent.
Remember, guys, the green is the healing, and the green is the
There's the same color.
Let's blow it up from far away.
I replaced the cannibal.
I'm gonna step into the helm and start revving up the engine.
The ship almost immediately starts to go into motion again. And as soon as you sit into the helm, your consciousness expands out to the rest of the vessel. And within seconds, the ship is sailing through the space gate. On a spelljamming vessel, for those who haven't been on one, or for the audience's sake, you can stand on the deck and look out over the stars in the weird glowing shapes. It's basically you're floating around in a giant acid trip until you get to one of the spheres. And so most everyone will spend as much time as they can taking in the sights, doing their various duties on the ship, and knowing that we're going towards a mission now would be the time to prepare, or perhaps get dressed.
Or drunk.
or drunk in some cases.
Or both.
My potions.
They're the ship's potions. Everything on this vessel technically belongs to all of you equally. So
There's no boring in the end.
What? What?
So let's get ready. We have roughly 4 hours and Celeste.
4 hours.
How many hours is she?
You do hear just a tiny little whisper. Dun dun dun! For those people who came in late, now is your opportunity to vote with your chips as to which way this scene goes.
Uh-oh.
What are you doing?
Oh my goodness.
What are you doing to me?
This is where we find out if we're going to get dressed or not.
Never!
It's all about the booty!
One side says not to hold, the other side I'm kidding.
Oh, God.
You know? That's TV
Super important.
Please, sir.
It
feels like it's
going
the
to be our
gold
last one. That's over. If someone is overwhelmed, there's an overwhelming decision for something to be.
Pretty much, you know.
Congressman, what do we have? Oh, all right. So the option was either a salvage crew, not yet, or pirates.
Which one we get?
We got
Salvage crew.
pirates.
So who's the one who voted for the salvage crew? Who voted for the salvage crew? I'll take care of you later with the dice. Now you know what to vote for next time.
Well, you know the salvage crew would have just been an alien.
Or pirates.
We probably could have also been pirates, but I feel
But
like
they-
alien is the trend that when you're on a
Very
spaceship,
yeah.
we got there and there'd have been no salvage crew.
No salvage crew. So, Celeste, as the scene picks back up and the person with our controller unpauses.
Which way do I hear it from?
It's coming from the port side, and it is an angry sound. That helm is a helm that doesn't want to be, actually, it doesn't want to be used. It's being angrily piloted. Don't try angry.
Don't try angry. They're using a groundhog. It's weird. I get shh. They're coming. The pirates.
You dressed?
Move!
You should put pants on. Pirates don't like you when you don't wear pants.
Crazy one's telling us again.
Yeah, but I've learned that nobody wants to fight anybody with their pants off.
I know, but they're so mad. They're so mad.
We're 45 minutes.
Galaraxius, who I forgot was here, leaps up from his cushion, apparently falling asleep during the entire meeting.
From a nightmare.
From a nightmare. Oh, we're way too close. Dread Nebula. And he flips his head back and forth and goes scampering down the hallway. Pirates! And we'll see him again in a minute.
Do you remember either?
Sorry about that.
I'm gonna go up to talk to Lenowin and say they're off the port and they're so angry and they're coming quickly.
So while you're sitting on the helm, everything has a little bit of 2-second delay. So like you can see her words and then you hear them.
Just the elf.
Well, we'll just have to drive angrier. No. I start to drive angrier. Oh, how close?
How close? I don't know how close
Then let's go ahead and have you, since we're going to drive angrier,
Yeah.
I want you to do an
strong.
intimidation.
People reroll like you?
Oh, you know what?
Yes.
Let's say yes. Actually, you know what? Audience pressure, what do you think?
Yes.
Thank you. All right, madness. Let's see. Let's just say with all of my 14, should I reroll it?
I think she
I want to reroll it.
so pretty.
Okay, that's a little better. That is a 17.
Alright, so she drives angry.
You're a good boy.
So the dragonfly is the class of the ship. The Wormstar 2 starts to like rock forward, the wings sort of open up, like kind of like frills on a cobra.
Your little butt come up.
The butt definitely comes and curves a little bit. Everyone on the ship can actually, like you feel it lurch, like you kind of have to grab something nearby.
Meanwhile, in my cabin,
One pant leg on.
as I'm timing it, I can feel the momentum because I'm used to the water. And then I can feel the momentum of the sway, and I just lift up a foot, slide on the trouser leg, slide on the other trouser leg, arm into the coat, arm into the coat, blunderbuss off the wall.
Thea,
Yes.
Halder is pacing, but it's an adorable pace. I mean, he's a. Isn't it he or she? Did I write that down?
You said it was a he because.
Okay, because of the thing.
Prefer to stay there.
He's scampering, like not excited, like scared. Like it's and seeing a 400 or 500 pound hamster scared is unsettling.
I don't like the way it feels either.
Oh,
I can feel it through the ship, and it's starting to freak me out.
So I'm going to try to calm him down, let him know that, hey, she's just flying the ship. It's going to be okay. It's just fine. We know that she's a great driver.
She's doing.
But I feel like maybe she's a little angry right now.
It lets out that kind of weird hurry chirpy sound that it makes. You're pretty sure it's happy?
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm going to give him some of his treats.
Oh, well, then there is no amount of fear.
Right.
A well-fed hamster is the bravest thing
And
ever.
I know it's like, hey, when it happens, when we take on these bad guys, I'm going to need you there for me, buddy. I need you right by my side. And you get more of these your hamster snacks.
I'm not sure if that's a hamster sound. I haven't had a hamster in 20 years.
Yeah, same.
We're going to rock it and say that's a hamster. Are you eating applesauce? Did you bring enough for the rest of the class?
Where do you get applesauce?
It's all there.
Space apples? Alright. So, what did you say?
Spapples?
Spapples.
Spapples.
Alright, so up on top of the deck, because the Wormstar only really has 3 decks. It's got a storage compartment in the belly, it has the place where everyone sleeps, and then it has the upper deck. The place where everyone sleeps is also where the helm is, where the captain's bridge is, which is basically just a room that looks out the eyes of the dragonfly. So everyone else has to kind of come up on top to see anything that isn't your room, or someone else's room if you're visiting. Just off to the port side, seemingly held back by the aggressive driving that Lenowin has put the ship into, is a hammer ship.
Nice.
Is a vessel that looks a lot like Hammerhead Shark. Normally, it's considered to be like a human warship. Most vessels of this cape, it might be mercenaries, that sort of thing. However, it does look worse for wear. There are giant holes in its hull, the mast is broken off halfway, the hammerhead eyeball part looks like it's just like been flash burnt by something. It does not look like it is in the best shape of its life. Yes, but it also doesn't look like it's headed straight at you anymore. It has been kind of held off a bit. What would you like to do in preparation for the hammer ship to visit you?
Are we going over? Like usual. Alright.
Can I cast spells from the helm?
So, absolutely. And any spells that you cast from said helm will technically emanate from the eyeballs of the worm shark.
Sweet.
Yeah. If you want to do anything that is not kind of from the eyeballs of the worm star, you would have to get up and move around.
Yeah, got it.
Can I cast Shatter on the ship?
Our ship?
No.
You'll have to get a little closer, but absolutely.
Yeah, that much to drink.
In fact, those kinds of spells are commonly used to do vessel damage to the other side in a combatant situation. All right.
I gotta get closer, so
Okay,
it's
why
not
did
like I
anyone
can-
had anything want to do any other preparation before? Because it is slowly approaching. It's just no longer barreling at you like it was.
Can I put a glyph of warding into space?
You would probably have to put it on something and then like kind of float it out in the phlogiston. Or if one of the big glue like gobs got close enough, you could put a glyph on it.
Where's the hamster? It'll be fine, I'm warding.
So if you remember the last time you put anything like that in space, the space exploded.
What I wanted to do.
No, all the space around us exploded.
That's what I wanted to do.
No, all the space around us exploded.
How is that different from what I want to do?
We're getting close here. Make your decisions.
I'm gonna get bark skin on myself.
Okay.
Yeah, and get my bow ready. And why don't you go ahead and cast that glyph on this bow, on this arrow, and shoot it out towards it.
Yep.
I mean, like we did that other time where the space didn't explode.
I hate your bow.
Wonderful arm is doing.
Fine. I'll put glyph of warding on this.
Yeah. Seems you're not 100% sure it'll work,
I'm not.
but it's better than putting on the hamster.
Is it?
For his sake.
For the hamster.
I mean, if the hamster's more
Can you fire the hamster off of the bow?
He's 500 pounds.
That didn't answer my question. What did I replace the catapult with? You said I replaced the catapult.
You
The
have
hamster cannon?
Hamster bolts?
They're a regular cannon, not a hamster cannon. Yeah, there's an actual bombard that you bartered from your fellow hippopotamize.
Right.
And it's a significant piece of machinery.
Then I'll put the glyph of warding on a cannonball.
That sounds nice.
A furry cannon.
Sadly, Howler is too big for the bombard to carry.
This is not my bombard.
This is not the one I ordered, right?
This is not the one. Damn it, Amazon.
I need perception checks from everybody. You actually just need to make a wisdom save because you're not seeing with your eyeballs.
Right.
You're seeing with your heart.
All the 10. I'm very focused on a lot of stuff.
You're still trying to drive anger.
Yeah.
You're like,
Yeah.
you're trying to back this thing off. Get away from me.
Fast and Furious.
Or 22.
Oh wow. All right. So 15s or higher can tell. Let's try that again in English. 15s or higher, as the ship draws closer, instead of barreling at you like a hammer ship normally would ram you, but with you being such a smaller ship, it would probably just break you apart, which is awful. I mean, no one likes that. But if they were here to, as you had kind of thought that this is an aggressive action, they're probably trying to board, or at least get close enough to start pelting you with ballista catapults. as it gets closer, it starts to sort of kind of tee off a little bit, and as you see that turn, you can easily see that there are no humans on board that vessel. There are a bunch of just angry orcs in various states of
Undressed.
Duress?
I was going to say preparation for war.
How sexy.
Yeah, undressed.
I'm willing to spend.
Anybody ever been at war with an orc where they're wearing
Sexy,
clothing?
They are in torn up uniforms.
Whose uniform?
You'll have to get a little closer to see.
Clearly not
There,
orc.
come on.
Well, I was going to say that they definitely are not well dressed, but they are all in similar outfits, just kind of all sort of torn rags.
Sure.
You comparing again?
There's little boy.
You always win anyway.
I'll
I know.
I'll bring you close. Are you going to board them?
We're gonna jump.
All right, all right. I'm gonna try to sidle in and.
Wait, you know we jump, you know we shoot, right?
Yeah, I normally shoot.
Yeah.
Artillery.
We can jump, but
Yeah.
no.
Can you get close in that direction and then we launch the bombardment?
Let's try that.
You bet. Does someone want to fire the bomb? Let me ask, actually. Do you want to fire the bombard personally, or would you like her to do so remotely?
No,
All right. So, what we're going to do this, we're going to do one round of kind of preliminary stuff. Y'all get to do one thing, and then we'll roll initiative and see how the orcs react, because if any of them are even remotely around.
Can I see the picture of the...
Oh, the camera shoot?
Yeah.
Camera.
Yeah, good.
Ooh,
Fancy.
it's very cool. Don't hurt it too much. I might want to use it.
All right, we'll start down. Theon, what are you doing?
Are we in range to shoot the bow?
So, as soon as it goes out in the phlogiston, reality gets a little weird.
Yeah, I love that.
So, the chances are good that it'll sail and hopefully will go on target. It might kind of do one of these numbers, but it'll eventually get there.
Right.
So yeah, you've shot at things before.
Yeah, I'm
out
gauging
here.
how the flow.
You're no noob.
I'm no noob?
You're no noob.
That's true, I know.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right, here we go.
Let fly.
Let her fly. 18.
Were you shooting at one of the orcs, or were you shooting
At one of yours.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay, well, so he's got the glyph wording on there. I just want to make sure.
No, that's on my cannonball.
It's on the
Oh
camera.
yeah, I forgot. Sorry.
Yeah, so add an orc.
Oh yeah, that'll easily strike. Give me a number between 1 and 8.
Just give you a number?
Yeah.
4.
All right.
It's pretty average.
You hit orc.
Right in the middle.
Go ahead and roll damage. The arrow, when it left the bow, it left and then slowed down and then sped up and then slowed back down again, and you're like, and then it like sailed right into the orc. He had no idea it was coming.
Perfect.
Yeah.
4, 3, 9 points damage. 3 plus 6.
All right. The arrow sinks in his shoulder. He lets out a horrible howl, which, even though you're actually pretty far apart, you can still hear it, and it's kind of echoing like through fog. Does anyone here speak orc?
Great question.
I have extra language of my choice.
For this moment, it's orc.
It should have been filled out.
No, I know.
Alright. If no one speaks orc, it is just a guttural.
How close is he?
We will. He would say probably 60 or 70 feet away.
Can it be 60 feet?
I got dollars in the can.
Yeah.
It's 60 feet.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, it's 55 feet.
Okay. I'm gonna
How very generous of you.
telepathically communicate with him.
Oh, yes. I forgot what my character's doing.
And so I just want to know. I'm going to. It's sort of like I want to know what's going on in his brain right now.
Anger.
Good.
And
I'm looking for like intention.
intention would be happiness. They want stuff. It's not bloodlust. They want things.
Okay.
This is a goal-getting mission.
Okay.
Lots of positive. All right, so bombard. Or what? Oh,
Let
sorry.
people know that.
Oh, all right. So as you reach out with your action and go, oh, I feel his intentions.
Yeah.
my head again.
I'm not
Shall
in your
we,
head unless you're the orc.
Shall we make the
Orc
big
wants
boom?
gold.
I'm waiting for, I am holding my bombardment until we come even with the tail.
Okay. So the bombard is on this cool like cog swivel that kind of ratchets, and because you're so huge, it's for most people it takes like 2 people. You just like put one hand on either side, just like crank, and line up, and everyone else can see him actively getting happier. With every ratchet, his grin just gets a little bigger because he knows what's coming soon.
So for everybody that can see me, you can see me getting actively happier as we're moving. So we get bigger and bigger, yeah.
Alright, Warren, what we got?
Well, as per usual when we do these crazy stunts, I'm going to cast one of my favorite spells, which puts a nice little ice shield around you because things are about to get hot.
Things are about to get
They always get hot.
Describe what your shield looks like.
Well, hold on, what if I can show you?
Oh, it's like he does props.
Yes.
How's that?
Awesome.
Nice.
And then Celeste.
I'm going to be Overwatch.
Okay.
Because I can talk to them even if they're on the ship. So I can, I will be like, I'll perch up like a bat, really, and just be able to watch around and directly talk into their brain.
All the time. When she takes up her little perch, it is creepy. Her body bends. Like she's bandy.
I do a lot of yoga.
This is upward crouching back.
That's right. And I have these wings today.
Alright.
I'm hoping to pilot the ship, so I'm watching the smile grow bigger and bigger on the face of our friend over there, and I'm trying to maneuver the ship so that it really strikes at a spot where I want it to hit. Ideally. So I'm also trying to sort of help the aiming and also, hit the orcs, not the ship. We want to steal their stuff. So I'm hoping to
Alright.
maneuvering.
In this case, what I'm going to say is
Yeah.
you can offer him advantage on the attack when it
Perfect.
happens,
Yep.
but you get to choose where it is.
Ooh, fancy.
He does not have to take
that.
the advantage,
Got it.
but then he gets to choose where it is.
Yeah, that's what I'm going with.
I'm the tactician.
From
guessing.
What is an elf name? She's a battery.
Battery.
Battery. Ooh. I'm already angry.
the wheels shimmer a little.
Yeah.
She just
The-
flips us.
Yeah.
Gravity. From below deck, you can hear Francisco shouting, "Try to take one alive! I want him!"
There are easier ways to get dates.
Really that time of the month?
And Galaraxius, who is still here, I promise he is still here, is loading what looks it's like a rifle made of wands. He's like, so imagine like a long revolver, but instead of bullets, it's got wands shoved in the thing, and he's doing his best, looking over the thing like, oh, I don't know, I got time for this. But similarly to the bombard scene, the tail is back and forth like a happy puppy. Just, oh, I get to try this.
Why did you get that in your game?
Shush, Coffee. Alright, so what I do need is initiatives out of everybody. I'm going to write them down, and I'm going to make a little thing. Now I have to do stuff. Whoa, and I lost it. It's gone forever. Alright, so these are everybody involved in the vessel.
That's too many orc pirates.
It's not too many more pirates.
Oh,
It's the exact number that I needed. Alright, Austin back. Only for the first one, right?
You did add the Jack of all trades to initiative, so it looks like a 7.
Alright.
I'm holding.
Warren.
But only because of
That is a 1 and a 0 put together.
As an arithmetic?
I knew you should have changed it.
Theon?
23.
Oh.
Damn.
The human is impressing me.
Yes. It's almost like you've seen me in action.
Can you roll for Howler? Because you got him prepped for battle. He's running around on the decks.
Yes.
12 plus those decks, plus 3, 15.
Does he have armor? Does he have tiny armor?
He does.
I want him to have a hat.
That little hat.
You could have had a whole blitz of warding.
To protect him against being captured.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like Howler would accept a hat
Celeste.
from you.
I'm 14.
14. That's gonna end up falling off. Linwin.
A 10.
A 10.
Wait.
Which one of you has a higher? Which one of you has a higher dexterity?
Let's see.
She's an elf.
Yeah, 18.
Chances are good. Okay. All right, my man. All right, at the very top of the order, we've got Theon at a 23. As the vessel draws close. Oh, you get to fire a bombard.
That's right.
Yes, between the rounds, as the tail gets just where you want it to be, there is a.
Hear the screaming of the temple.
I will not take it.
Ooh, I'm trying to line you up.
You can feel the ship being like, pull this way, pull this way. You're like,
Nope.
Natural motherfucking 20.
Nice.
I think the end
You've taken the 2 before the thing. I'm so sorry.
So I'm sorry, kids.
We're gonna try and keep this PG-13 for when this gets streamed, but
That was the one F.
But I get to pull the. I think that one counts.
That one counts.
That one's fine.
PG-13, you get one F-bomb per like 60 minutes. So, all right. So the bombard goes off, and there is.
So does the ship.
There is a crowd sweeping eruption of sound and smoke. The smoke is that kind of purplish gray that your magical smoke or the magical black powder goes when your artillery goes off.
It is what the magical smoke in my pipe looks like too.
Do you smoke your black powder as well? Perfect. And everyone who's on the vessel, it doesn't smell like fireworks, like regular black powder. It has almost like kind of a what's the smell like?
A HIPAA powder musk.
Gross. That's not from the explosion. Like that ozone. It has an ozone smell because it is a magical powder that actually makes these go. And the cannonball sails across the phlogiston. The like gooey parts that normally slow everything down part like they get out of the way. They're like no. Partially maybe because of the ward that you had placed on the cannonball.
Absolutely.
And it slams into the tail of the hammer ship. The hammer ship's tail just evaporates. It like wood and metal flies everywhere, and so does one more. Just he ends up out in the phlogiston. And unlike in regular space where someone flies away forever, he just basically goes until he hits one of those blobs and then sort of gets caught in it. And you can see him struggling. You know, he's trying to swim to the edge of the bubble, and maybe he'll jump to the next bubble. But we'll deal with him later.
There's your date.
He's caught.
Okay. The thing. All right. So Theon, you are top of the order at 23.
Okay, so after the explosion of the tail of the other ship, does that bring it any closer? Does it like, because it hit it, does it bring the head of the ship closer to us?
A little bit, because the tail exploded so much. There wasn't a whole lot of like inertia to even go away.
All right. Okay. Now, and what is the distance between the two vessels?
At this point, probably 30.
Perfect.
Are you into Pythagoras' theorem again?
Yeah. Well, obviously my character is super smart. I'm gonna go ahead and cast Misty Step.
Okay.
Fog's gonna come around me.
Nice.
And I'm gonna step to 30 feet at the crossing of the vessel.
Good.
Behind the orcs.
Not an issue, because they're all lined up ready to, with the exception of the one that's swimming in
Fools.
space knot. they're all lined up ready to jump across. They're super angry about this. Now that you're over there, as you kind of materialize behind them, there is one of them that is much larger than the others. He's maybe a foot and a half taller.
Okay.
You can get a good look at their uniforms. Their uniforms comically are, the pants are too short. There's no sleeves. The sleeves have been basically torn off. It's almost like they're all wearing sort of brown vests and like UPS driver shorts.
Because Theon would know what that is.
I'm using your things.
So this is like Cabin Boy in space?
Yeah.
You can tell by where the hems of the seams are that they're not sewn for orcs either. Like it isn't that they're choosing to dress like this. They actually put on other people's clothes.
Cool.
They didn't choose to put on the other people's clothes?
Well, they didn't choose to have them sewn like this.
So it sounds like maybe someone is pushing them to do things that you don't want to do? Like a monstrosity right here, this big guy? Yeah, I hate this guy already.
You hate that guy
Oh,
already?
yeah.
Get him.
Alright, so Misty Step I believe is not, I think that's just a bonus action. Yeah, so you should be able to still enact some stuff.
Man, I really want to shoot this guy.
Murder.
And I will.
And do it. Alright.
Nice.
All right, so 27.
27 will hit.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And anybody who plays in a Brian Steele game, I consider armor class to be basically like a difficulty number. Once you hit it once, you know what it is. The big fella in the back has an AC of 18.
Nice.
Oh, and the little guys in the front had an AC of 13. Little guys, 7 foot tall orcs.
What was the tail's AC?
What, 12?
It was.
You miraculously strong.
Yeah. That's all.
Alright, go ahead and swing away.
As a bonus action, it says here I have Planar Warrior.
But you have already bonus action.
Perfect. So 13.
Is this with your bow? Or?
Yeah.
So you Misty Step across, you get the view of everybody, you pull your arrow out, and it just hits him in the back and falls.
Well, that's not good.
There's that grunt of, like when you get pushed in a line, or in Gen Con's hallway. Too soon.
Okay.
Alright. Which leaves, we have 3 pirates that get to go in a row, and they are just going to try and jump across to the other vessel. Because their captain fella has not had a chance to go yet, so they're just making jump checks to leap across these 30 feet and hope the Flutterson will carry them away.
I hope they fall.
2 of them have no trouble getting across. Like these are practiced jumpers. The other one, however, will have some difficulty. He will basically float around for the rest of the turn, sort of try to drag himself through the glob to get close enough to then scramble up. Howler on a 15. What would you like your little space hamster to do? There are 2 orcs on the deck.
He is going to charge them and bite away, Howler. and
I will let you roll the dice for Howler as
he
is your wonderful hamster.
All right, so Howler goes at the first one to bite
I don't
them.
say that very often.
We should. We should say that more.
It really should be, I think.
14.
The orcs are AC 13,
Yeah.
so absolutely. Roll damage as the hamster locks its little orange, like plate teeth.
They're not little. I mean, this 2d6.
Well, I mean,
this is a maw from a,
It's basically a mouthful of daggers.
5, 6, 7.
Yeah, better.
And he'll do the whole head shake.
Yeah, the orc is a stream of orc obscenities. You can tell by body language, because even if it isn't a lot of damage, it hurts because they're not sharp. They're just sort of flat and really strong. He's like, I'm gnawing on you. I love this. Celeste on a 14.
Can I reach one of them?
You will have to get down off of your perch.
Can't reach down from my perch?
Not where
To
they
their head?
currently
But
are.
it would be cool.
But it could be cool.
Yes, you can. How many do it take?
You don't really have those, Alex.
Of course I
Oh, wait,
did.
no, they do because he spent like $20 on
Made the deal. It's fine.
Yeah, okay, you can touch it.
Okay.
Sounds great. It's for charity. She can
So
touch
I'm
Dory's
gonna-
head for charity.
I want to reach down and I I want to shocking grasp his head.
Nice.
Maybe I should have said no.
Too late.
It's too late. That ship has sailed.
Oh.
And I got a 23.
That hits.
That hits him.
Yeah.
And I do 2d8 of lightning.
You grab him next to his greasy mohawk.
8 plus 2. So 10 points of lightning damage to his head.
Brain phase. Just, there's static everywhere. His eyes flicker, and he's like, whoa, whoa. He's not dead,
Right.
but it smells really bad.
Yeah.
Your hand is gross.
Yeah.
So gross.
And then as my bonus action, I would like to mind link with him and tell him to go.
I'll let you roll intimidation, and I'm going to give it disadvantage.
All right.
Because right now, what most of his head is saying is, ow.
Yeah, but I mean, that should encourage him to then leave.
Voices in his head is at this point, secondary to agony.
Intimidation, well, it's just 5.
You know what? Your voice in his head was like, go home.
Come
It was really just kind of a plead, like, oh, come on.
We don't like you here.
Alright, we have an
I'm
orc.
gonna wipe my hand off on whatever's close.
How dare you? That's probably the ship.
It's you.
I was gonna say, I was like, this.
Oh, I have the delay, so it takes me a second to realize.
You have that moment of, no, Alright, so one of the orcs is still on the ship, turns at the sound of his captain grunting, and there's a quick exchange of orc, and one of them pulls a cutlass and runs at you.
Cool. I mean, I fought orcs in...
You're AC 15?
I am AC 16.
You were 16. So it glances off of the shoulder pauldrons of your armor. It is way, you're confident, you're like, haha, I got this. And it is, like,
Yeah. Now,
I let the heck out of this thing, alright?
the ship is not gonna go missing at all.
Yeah.
It comes super
I don't like
close.
that at all.
No, and you can he's got one gold tooth, and but it's not an orc tooth.
Seems fair.
Yeah, dude,
Nice shark tooth.
He's just like, oh, I'm coming at you.
He's excited.
That was foreplay. That was sword foreplay.
yeah.
Sword play. That doesn't work.
I bet he's not even left-handed.
What's up?
He's probably not even left-handed.
He has no left hand. Alright, so, Letterman, you're upset.
Alright, I'm quite upset at a lot of things that have happened on this ship, and we're going to have conversations about them afterwards. But for now, I'm going to sort of channel some of my anger to, you see sort of little ozonies sparking, perhaps from some of the magical blow-up dust that has been dispersed across my ship as I start casting Witch Bolt from the helm of the ship. So let us see, I think I get 2 of those. Yes, I get 1. The initial damage increases. Cool.
Krakow.
So they have to make, I have to make a ranged spell attack against the first one. Alright. Let us see, that is nothing's high enough to do. I rolled a 16 plus 7.
Oh yeah,
so,
easy.
I'm gonna hit.
Easy.
Cool. I'm casting it as a 2nd level spell, so 2 d12s, because goodbye. That's 19.
Oh my god. So,
And that just is gonna keep on going.
it won't need to.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So where the hammer ship is, and
Yeah.
your lightning is coming out of the eyes of the worm star. It hits one of those front guys. He's getting ready to jump across, and his eyes get real big for a second. This kind of purple lightning kind of just starts to generate, and then streak across from the ship, and he's just gone. He's just a refined mist.
Nice.
All right. Yep.
Goes across him. He's not good. All right, and then Sir Warren.
Theon, you can't fire with that orc there. And I take a swing at the orc in front of Theon.
Nice.
Well, Theon is still on the other ship.
I'm on the other ship.
He's fighting orcs on the hammer ship. He jumps across. Because he went over and shot the other guy.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but there is an orc on the vessel.
Let's
still.
do the story from the factory.
There's two orcs on
There are.
Fine, I'll take out the other orc.
There's one that she has electrocuted the face of. Okay.
I don't want to do that.
Good call. It's fair.
All right.
All right. Well, take the record. There we go. 21.
That will connect.
I believe this sword lights up on fire.
It does. Would you like to illustrate that for everyone?
Go ahead.
I was waiting, and it looks like this. I was going to keep testing.
I'll see what I have got up to, but no, I don't think I've got a file. It's actually a very low glow. It's temporary, just slightly more than cool. And I swing at the orc. For 28.
I believe in you.
I don't.
There you go.
So that comes to 14 damage for 2 ones.
All right. Well, it absolutely, nearly eviscerates him. The sword gets almost all the way through, like that belly section when it does that final light up, and you can see kind of smoke come out both sides.
Mm-hmm.
But he's not down. He's still active. Which leaves me an orc, which is one on the ship. He is gonna, seeing his friends on the Wormstar not faring well, he'll jump over and get stuck in a bubble.
Yay.
No, he doesn't. I'm a super guy. He floats across.
Yes, he does.
Stuck in a bubble.
Just one shiny moment.
So there's 2 orcs stuck in goo currently, and that brings us to Austin.
Can I crank around for another one?
It takes several, for the bombard, it takes several rounds to reload.
Define several.
2d6 hastily. However, if anyone in the audience wanted to donate a gem to you right now, it would be 1d6.
Ooh.
Look at that.
Yes.
Action and adventure.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So, 1d6.
Reroll capability.
Nice.
All right.
Is that no D6 or is that?
It's still 1d6. My generosity.
All right, so we got a 4, but I'm going to use the reroll that she just gave me for that, and hopefully
it comes up.
Yeah, which is, we gotta. I need somebody to jinx it because I usually roll pretty high. So yeah, you could do that. Yeah, you roll it for me.
Roll it for you. There you go. 2.
All right. So this round, and at the end of next round, it'll be fully loaded.
Okay, so you just hear me from the opposite side. Just thank you.
That's good.
Over on the other vessel,
Yes.
the big guy,
Yeah.
the captain of the other vessel.
Wait, now he's the captain?
Wants to give you.
He got his promotion because you killed the other one.
Oh, no, the one that you shot in the back,
Yes.
the big guy.
Yeah.
He turns,
Mm.
and in just the worst, like the smell is actually worse than the accent. What are you doing?
That's really?
I thought that was a pretty clear accent.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
What you doing? I got nothing. Maybe he's smarter than I'm making him out to be. I don't know. He is the captain.
Okay.
And he lifts it's kind of a cross between a sword and an axe.
We like this.
And he doesn't swing it, but he points it at you
Mhm.
and tells you to stand down.
Ooh.
On your knees.
Oh, that's not standing down.
No.
Well, you're not really standing.
No, it's kneeling. Kneel standard.
Now,
Kneel normal.
Okay.
That is his turn.
Stab him.
Well, as the you here very shortly get to take your action, we'll see how that goes.
Okay.
Galaraxius on a 4.
Oh.
Yeah. Woo. He will hopefully finish loading his wand gun. Yeah. Right. There is a click from the back of the deck, and a low giggle as a stream of magic missiles come flying from the back of the back of your ship.
Be careful with those.
It's like fireflies that go sailing across into the phlogiston, and like they're little pockets of like raindrops, and most of them still find their way, and one of the orcs in the bubble just sort of goes, like it's like he's getting shot underwater in a spy movie. Goes back.
Nice.
Alright, last orc is still on the ship.
Jump into a bubble.
I don't want him to jump into a bubble, but he doesn't want to. The captain just told somebody to stand down. He's not silly.
We want him to.
Oh, you're gonna make him jump in a bubble. All right, so he's gonna try and jump across. He's no fool. We don't even like him to stop because that's television.
I will spend what?
A second 20.
Oh no!
22 to start the time?
I'm gonna say that he's not in the bubble. Those are 3 really good rolls.
Wow. All right.
So he makes it across. He lands on the deck, but he will not get an attack. You know what? He gets no attack action.
Ever? Great.
Whatever. He is ruined. He is now the most peaceful orc of all
He was
time.
like, I was so good at jumping, that's all I'm doing.
He knows how close he came to disaster. He's ready to hang up his cutlass.
Great.
You get a lot bigger the closer people get to you. From 30 feet away, you're just a big gray blob. Up close, you're a
Just a
really
big gray blob.
I'm still a big blob, yeah. A really big blob.
Yeah.
And I don't even have pants on at this point.
All right, Theon, top of the order, 23.
Okay, so did his question of what am I doing? Is it,
You get the impression that it was more of just a, you're on my ship. You know, like, what are you doing? Yeah, it was very much, not like he was questioning your intentions.
Okay.
It was just shock and awe that a tiny little human pinky just jumped over amidst his entire crew and then
Are you
shot him
gonna
in the
take
back.
oh, I'm not.
Like, that was a slur.
It wasn't.
I called you a pinky.
I know it's the worst.
Not even the brain.
I basically, I am pinky. I am going to say, oh, what am I doing? This, and I shoot him,
Okay.
and then I'm going to use Plane of Warrior, so that my second shot will be with a force damage.
Okay. So, whack, whack.
Whack, whack.
I mean, zombie apocalypse, double tap.
He's not a zombie.
24,
I promise. Yeah, that'll hit.
better than 24.
Bet those strike. True. Both arrows hit him dead in the chest. There's a look of unexpected, like you almost think maybe, like, you know what, roll damage. Let's see how.
All right.
Let's see how because if you club this might be a laughter situation.
3 plus an additional 8. All right, 25.
All right, go. Ain't gonna laugh at you.
Okay.
So again, that's solid. The first arrow hits home, pierces. The second one kind of explodes on contact, and that kind of sends him to a knee. Like he drops his sword on the ground. The first one he would have been like, whatever, but the second one's like getting like stun gun. You know, ooh, oh hey, wasn't expecting that one. And there's fire in those eyes now. When we get down,
I need it down here.
there will be chocolate.
I'm going to let them know that I learned that from my teacher.
So the one that was electrocuted.
What?
Yeah.
Shocked or electrocuted?
It's shocking. He's going to attempt to stab you.
I disagree.
It is difficult to talk your way out of this. Offline. 19. Will that hit you, Celeste?
I don't want it to, because I could. I could use a green. I have one. What's that?
So it looks like it's going to
It looks like it's
So I'm going to need to reroll this.
But please re-roll it.
Will a 16 hit you? It will not.
Can you re-roll that?
Oh. So
brutal.
Wow.
and then I will work down to 7.
Yeah!
He's feeling a little underutilized.
Maybe it's the smoke in his eyes or the cataracts
I
that
don't know,
you've given him.
does he have eyes anymore?
They're foggy. But yeah, he swings and comes up at me.
Good.
The other, oh, he's swimming in the flood. He's gonna try. He's like, what to make it?
Classical music is playing.
No, that's terrible. Yeah, so he's flailing around in the goo. Howler.
So the one that Howler bit previously, he is going to try to push him off of the ship.
Okay, he's trying to just get out.
Yeah.
All right. Go ahead and just give me like a straight melee attack roll with that, and then we'll do a strength thing to see if who's stronger than your hamster.
Okay.
I've never said that before.
Ooh.
Oh, Howler.
Howler wasn't feeling that.
But maybe.
But maybe he is.
Okay, yes, 19.
Yes.
That will absolutely connect. Go ahead and roll strength.
All right.
Roll very.
Howler for MVP.
20.
Okay.
18 plus 2.
As he had a 4.
Oh.
Howler badly, but you didn't get to
You're two almost, like your two is actually good enough.
Howler kind of grabs him by the clothes mostly, and just sort of runs up to the side of the deck and goes, and out cartwheels another one.
Howler's the
I
best.
wave goodbye to the ship's wings. Very pleased.
I stay on the connect side of Howler from across.
Celeste.
Oh, well I'm gonna just zap him again.
Take this again.
Let's see if that works. I got a natural 20.
That'll be extra. Go ahead and roll a whole ton of dice, and you don't need much.
Okay, is it double the dice? So 8 plus 3, 11 plus 2, 13 plus 7, 20 damage.
20 damage. Okay, he's baked. He's done.
Yeah.
Head pops like a blister.
Oh boy.
And
Those with my other hand, so I wiped that one off.
Oh, delay. Slow head turn. We'll speak of this later.
All right, Warren, what you got? There are 2 orcs currently still standing on your vessel.
There's one I've nearly killed.
There's one very nearly.
And no one still needs to be healed.
No one really has been injured.
So I pull out one of the vials I grabbed from downstairs, which I definitely know is not a healing potion.
Okay.
And I offer it to the orc.
Ooh, interesting.
Did you just stab him?
Of course.
I don't need to roll for this. It's. What are you doing?
No, I think he drinks it.
Yeah, you said that.
You know what? That's worth it. He takes it from you like he's like maybe you were gonna drink it.
Oh!
All right, we got. All right, we got anything? Nope. Now where are we at? We had drinks.
Now we're drinking.
So he's he grabs it out of your hand, like he thought for a moment that you were gonna drink it down, not that you're injured, and he slugs it back, and there's just sort of like this kind of faded eye. I've made a mistake, and falls over on his back, like foaming froth. You are.
Yeah, which wolf's just going to continue going off. So who's sitting around here?
Moves it over like an emperor. There is one other orc on the other vessel, and then there's the tall one.
Who's got the tall one? I'll get the other vessel. This guy's fine. The humans got this.
So go ahead and roll to make that connection.
Excellent.
What?
Let's see. That is a.
Not you. I promise not you.
That is a 22. Okay, cool. And I forgot that I cast all my spells at level 3, so actually it's 3d12. So that's only 18.
So yeah, basically, as the bolts, it's like a sci-fi laser, like the laser in Demolition Man, just wow, and off goes the orc. Hossenbeck, you are finished loading the bomb.
Ooh, yeah.
There's a big giant guy.
There's a big giant guy?
You can totally see him. He's
So now I actually look to you and I go,
Yep. I'll do what I can.
like,
What do I do for you?
which one?
Which one?
What do you want?
There's a pause.
This oracle's not working.
Pardon?
Too long. I hit the button and I just
Excellent.
light up the center of the ship,
okay. So,
slash the captain.
yeah, so that area.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fair, you're.
I've disabled their ability to go anywhere.
Oh yeah, no, that thing's not going.
Now I'd like
In
to
addition
disable
to
their
some other
ability
effects.
to continue.
Lifting.
I'd like to turn them into light.
Go ahead and make an attack roll. Hey, Theon, I do need you to make a dexterity save.
Ooh.
As the cannonball comes.
I like that natural 20. You don't need to worry about that.
Oh, okay.
See?
Oh, do you?
You want me to re-roll that? Re-roll it.
Oh no! For the heroes.
Keep it.
Okay, is that a good fit?
All right.
Natural 20.
Oh wow! All right. Now let's see the attack roll. Now what's going to be funny is when this is so off that it doesn't matter. But what do we got?
Watch him miss.
I got a 9 plus. What's my plus for this freaking bombardment?
It'll be a ranged combat bow, like your normal ranged combat shot.
Okay.
You're technically aiming at an area,
Yeah.
so it's not hard to hit the area.
Okay.
You're not hitting him like with a bullet. You're hitting him with.
So that's a 14.
That will definitely hit that. Spot.
Okay, good. Because if I thought I was going to miss it, I was just going to be inspired by my own awesomeness.
As well you should.
Yeah.
So Theon, there's that sound that you're accustomed to from time to time, the murder sound, and then there is smoke and fire, and I'm not going to need you to roll any damage. Don't worry about that.
I'm
Actually,
gonna
you know
give
what?
him-
Go ahead. Go up 5d10 damage, please.
Okay, I'll roll 5d10 damage. I'm also going to give him Bardic Inspiration. So you have Bardic Inspiration.
Duck.
5d10, he says.
Wood, fire, splinters, metal, everywhere. Oh, unless this is.
I'll have to take it. Okay. Oh, they're the same. Looks like, was that 28, 33?
Okay.
28 or 33.
The way that the silence was coming, I was worried. For
I know,
I was like, is this not happening? Okay, all right, cool. Yeah, so that is not an issue.
Uh-oh.
Oh, excellent. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Theon, amidst the fire and smoke and debris that kind of showers you, you do a good job of like covering your soft bits from the hard things. But the rest of you, as your like eyes, there's that moment of, did I just get my wet paint? Because the captain has exploded. You are now covered in what used to be the captain. Something.
A little bit of captain on you there.
Little captain on you. Got a little captain in you?
It is not. Just a little bit.
Oh, absolutely. Well, he's got
And his ears.
He's got to make that spit take.
Yeah.
Yeah. But there is.
That one I gave you earlier for his barn, you lost.
Remember to say 4.
We're giving it back.
You're super dead. The last fightable orc, like the one that was on that's not caught in the goo, no question. Cutlass down, I am so done.
I'm reloading.
Theon, when the captain exploded, there was something solid that came out of him.
Teeth.
Or off of him, perhaps.
Sure.
It's hard to tell when you can't see.
Right.
It was like getting punched in the stomach, but lightly. A rock about yay big,
Okay.
like a smooth stone that's covered in.
Does it have 3 bands around it?
What's up?
3 bands?
Does not have 3 bands.
Was he singing opera?
ACDs.
But it hits you square in the belly, and so when you get the captain out of your eyes, you'll be able to look down and see, that there's this rock. It's not the cannonball.
Oh, okay.
It is literally a almost
like a river stone? Or?
like a quartz stone.
Oh, okay.
Like it's been, I wouldn't say polished, but it's covered in captain.
Sure, okay.
I feel like covered in captain needs to be something specific.
Hashtag.
It could be a hashtag. I don't know exactly what it is yet.
Covered in captain.
It sounds like a bar thing.
At least a t-shirt. Yeah.
I feel like it's the name of this episode.
Oh, yeah, that's it.
All right.
That's
And
it.
do I take anything else?
Initially, we are out of initiative at this point because one orc is swimming, struggling, I should say, and the other one has absolutely given up. Like, it is hands on back of head, he knows the drill.
Well, and Francisco wanted one of them, so he can have the non-good one.
Well, the
We
good
left
one.
you one.
Fair enough. What are you guys ready? You still have to get back over from the other vessel. You don't want to get too close to that ship. Even with your amazing piloting abilities, should that thing do like a sudden lurch, you guys don't even know who's driving it. Because someone has to have been sitting in that helm.
It's still at home.
So it might lurch at any moment or fall apart. You don't want any of that.
I'm maneuvering the ship so that hopefully it takes our hopeful prisoner out of the aim, the line of sight of our cannonball friend here, and I'm also trying to stay back. So
I grab our salvage rope and just.
Yep.
Nice.
So crank the two ships together for the
Not
most
too-
part. Yeah, like you can't bump them too much because that other one is going to start falling apart. Like it's going to start crumbling. Which you can actually feel under your feet. Boards giving way.
Okay, I'm gonna scoop up the stone, and when you throw that over, I'm gonna grab onto that and throw myself across.
No rolls necessary. You're back on the other side. What are you doing with the orc that surrendered, who is currently still on the ship that's falling apart?
We need to bring him over for the captain.
Okay, I will slow back. I'm not gonna grab the rope. Then I will grab the orc.
Okay.
And
He is not going to struggle. He knows he feels what's happening on this ship,
Yeah.
and it's a death sentence. So he's
Okay.
like, nope, I'm coming with you.
yeah, okay.
I don't know if you're reminding me.
Yeah, pull it again.
Oh,
Eh.
I take it and I sit down on the deck.
All right.
Nice.
Makes a heck of an anchor.
The best anchor.
Yeah.
Remember that time when we did tug of war on Korean? That was the best.
That's the best. Theon,
Wasn't it
give me
full
a perception check. When you pick up the stone.
14.
The stone, it's kind of vibrating.
Okay.
But not constantly. Not like like it's not like humming or anything like that. It's almost like if you put your hand over your mouth and try to talk. It's definitely got some kind of staccato.
Cadence to
Yeah,
it.
it's perfect. It's got a cadence to it.
Ooh.
Okay.
Yeah,
As soon as I get across, I will present it to the captain.
Okay. Prince himself his little lockbox because I don't like being shot at. But now that the fighting is over, he is ready to go. It's a big plumed hat.
Oh.
Captain is on deck. He comes over. You hand him the stone.
Well, the old place.
You
Do you
go
hand
to-
him any of the captain?
Well, I was gonna say you go to hand him the stone and he goes, ah!
What?
What have you done?
What do you mean, what have I done?
It's just a little captain.
That was me.
Oh,
Bully.
I don't think I can heal him.
He pulls. I think it's beyond this.
Just pour the.
He pulls out like a silk kerchief, like this dainty thing that around the edges have someone else's monograms on it. Like, yeah, and he wraps it around and wipes it off. And when he wipes it off, you can see that there's actually like words that have been etched into it. Does anyone read Dwarven?
I read all languages, I think.
Sure.
I didn't see that.
I do.
I read everything.
It's good, it's better than Elvish.
Oh, Dwarven, yeah. There they are, hidden right in front of my eyes.
He does not. Francisco looks at it.
I did.
Okay.
I did.
You will have no issue between the three of you to recognize the two of you. Well,
Still in the elf.
oh, okay, ignore the elf. Okay. The words on the stone are basically it's the Dwarven sentence for "hold me to your ear." actually dwarves, this end to here.
I translate to the captain.
It's complete gibberish.
Okay.
Ain't touching.
Hands it to someone else. It is complete gibberish.
I take it and do the thing, because this sounds like epic adventure.
We can't find our way out. There's these sleepless things, they're horrible, they've killed too many of us. The first team's already been evacuated, but we can't find our way back out. Not without your help. Beware the eyes.
Can I say
It just repeats.
it? Oh, okay. I put it to my mouth and I'm like, where are you at?
Everyone.
Wrong
answer.
answer.
Yeah.
In Dwarvish.
So you speak into it in Dwarvish. It stops, and the words disappear, and it resets, and it's now in sending mode.
Oh,
Oh my
nice.
gosh, cool.
So, yeah, where are you guys located? We're right about, whatever the coordinates are.
We're right next to the Whole Foods.
It's not really so much of a coordinate situation, but
There's a TGI orc out here.
the response that you get is that they're stranded in the Grand Spectator, which anyone would like to make a history check, they can. You guys have been sailing this area for a while.
I got a 21.
Nice.
So it's going to be a DC 16 because it's a little obscure.
I see your 21 and raise you at 25.
Yeah.
Boom, 24.
So collectively a 45.
Wow.
Collectively, I like where you're going here.
I like how this works.
Yeah.
I'll make it 49.
Collectively, you guys figure out the Grand Spectator is the semi-living shell of effectively a moon-sized beholder that floats around. It's been dead for a long time. Like no one, people land there all the time. It is a place of great adventure.
Holiday destination.
What's up?
A holiday destination.
I wouldn't call it a tourist trap.
A tourist attraction.
A tourist attraction, perhaps. But it is something that a lot of if they get anywhere near this kind of corner of the spheres, a lot of people swing by because it's the rumor and the legend is that it's the oldest beholder that has ever existed, god of the beholders, body of the beholder god, blah 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 blah. It is also because so many adventurers have gone there. It is also said to be rife with treasure because a lot of adventurers have never made it back out again. So it's sort of that whole thing of let's go see the Grand Spectator to go pick up what other people have dropped. And it is not that far away in all.
Is it in the nebula?
It is not in the Dread Nebula. The Dread Nebula is basically the gate that gets you to Great Claw. That's what I'm saying, right? Yeah, no, this just floats around in the flutters.
Don't have any.
Just being generous. All right, so what are you guys going to do next? Francisco is happily going to take the orc downstairs to question him about what the hell they were doing out there. Why would you attack my ship?
When
You're
you
a
put the
peaceful salvage crew.
When you put the quotation marks on there, it makes me kind of think that he was looking for a date.
Nice.
Francisco he's a goblin of the people. He's a goblin at times.
You're not really clarifying it for me.
Don't try and judge this goblin.
I'm not. Just trying to get a good idea of what's happening.
You can always ask the elf. She's gonna watch.
I can listen.
Ooh, the elf's gonna watch? Creeper.
I can't help
She
it.
can't help it.
I watch everything. Everything. Have to get the ships.
Should be nicer than
Francisco has taken captives before. Most of the time, they are either turned into crew, or they or they'll get dropped off at the next port to whoever will pay him the most for this prisoner, whether it's a pirate or otherwise.
Sounds like a bad dating scheme.
Yeah.
I agree. Wait, no, wait.
You should just go on Tinder.
He's trying to.
There's gotta be like Space Jammer Tinder.
Spelljammer
Oh,
Tinder.
God.
How do you?
Space,
Jammer?
Space.
Is that what you do? Just combine 2 words all the time?
Yeah.
Spaffles and swinger.
Space, things in space.
Actually, it's probably just called Jammer.
Jammer.
That's.
But no,
We've gone into a strange place.
Yes.
J-A-M-M-R.
Alright, so.
What means
Start
15 minutes
orienting
in?
the Grand Spectator.
Is this far enough off the rails for you?
We're getting there.
We can't see the rails anymore.
So, Arcana check.
Alright.
Because you have to turn this vessel using nothing but your mind.
Ooh, okay, cool.
Feel the ebbs and flows of the thoughts.
Cool. I'm gonna re-roll. I was focused on how I have to see everything on the ship.
I know what you're focused on.
Oh my gosh, it's really hard to focus. I know the 2. I think it's important to get there safely. So I'm gonna draw it together and focus on my mysterious elven past and my superiority over all of my teammates.
Wow.
And with that behind me, surely I will make a 19.
Alright.
Sorry, can you re-roll that again?
Oh no! How dare you? A natural 20.
It got better!
I feel like you're still a little distracted.
Oh no, you're gonna take away my natural 20.
No, you can keep your naturals, but you are gonna re-roll the dice.
Alright. Just have the natural 20 again. Alright,
I
that'll
really
be
want
a 17.
Alright, still good.
Yeah, still good. But I'm a little less focused. I was really almost in the zone.
Navigating through the.
They're just dancing.
You were too distracted by Francisco's interrogation techniques.
More shots.
It takes a matter of hours to reach where he's talking about, because the phlogiston kind of bends around you, pushes you where you need to go, and the Grand Spectator, when you reach it, it really does kind of look like a giant, like beholder asteroid. The eye is all cataracted over. The stalks are like broken off. They look almost like little towers. And there's this giant hole in the middle that is the teeth, the maw, like where it would bite things. And you can actually see on the tongue platform, maybe it could be a tongue. There is a broken galleon. There's a ship, well, it's not again this sloop, a landing sloop, a dwarven ship that is kind of ground into the tongue of this gigantic beholder.
But a sloop, so like operatable by like 3 to 5 people.
Yeah, it is definitely a landing craft. This is not a this would have come off of a larger vessel.
Why did we come here?
Celeste, are you getting anything off of the ship or the mines nearby?
I don't know. Am I?
That sloop is one dead ship. It's broken.
Oh no. Too many dead ships today.
Are there other ships in there?
You're not picking anything up, but you get a weird sensation from the Spectator itself. It's like a sleeping dragon.
I don't know that thing's dead.
There's no dream, like there's nothing, it's not thinking about anything, but it's there's definitely still life there.
Captain,
We should go because the thing is alive.
Francisco comes back up.
why did we come here?
The big rock thing.
Yeah, let me use a rock and send the seed. Is that you guys on that, are you on that sloop inside the mouth? In Dwarven?
In Dwarven.
In Dwarven, of course, because I don't speak.
And in the response is, who are you? I don't know what you're talking about.
It's that Faerun accent.
Who are you? Where are you at? Are you here to save us?
Why won't anybody answer me? What did we even come here for?
There was a distress call.
Oh, great. Why would we didn't
We're exceptionally good people, I'll have you know. Remember?
I finished my shot.
Can you restate that sentence, please?
Oh, it doesn't work that way. None of that.
In Dwarven, I'll respond with,
Safe
we're the crew of the Wormstar 2, and we are outside of, what it was, the Grand Spectator?
Yeah.
Tell them that they're in a living thing's mouth.
That's gonna help around.
Tell them the thing is alive.
What?
The thing that they're on, it's
And-
alive.
And it seems that the spectator is still present and alive.
You're welcome.
Wow. Why would you say that? Oh my! Ah! And we go silent.
I'm helping.
I would like you to flip to the next page.
I hate this. I hate it, I love it.
Alright.
Go, go.
I know a lot of you have used a bunch of your tokens. Do we have anything?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Make the right choice, people.
It seems like we've got a clear.
Yeah, we got a clear picture.
The gentleman wearing the Winwood shirt.
Ah. Oh my goodness.
I think that may have tipped the scales.
It would have been really funny if you dropped it into the other one.
Oh, Lord!
Hand him a $20 bill.
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
There's no
Thank you
fighting
very
it.
much.
There's no fighting it.
Count faster, Chris.
There's no point.
I tried.
Alright, so,
Oh my goodness.
Well done.
looking like, what do we got?
You're gonna count.
Capitalism simulator, right?
What are the options while we're waiting for the count?
Yeah, as I say, we didn't like let them know.
TPK.
Or TPK.
Or TPK.
The final page. Credits or not?
30 that they're dead.
What?
You guys are mean.
Who's dead?
We were
Us?
fine until.
No.
Are we dead? Is this some sort of weird ghost thing?
Do I see living people?
Okay, the choices were still alive, question mark, or recently dead, question mark. They're dead.
Oh no!
I can heal, right?
Alright, so, what would you like to do after the sound of the scream in the sending stone?
You hear dead dwarfs?
I just heard them screaming and it went silent.
Yep.
I'm just gonna be continuing. Is anybody there? Hello? Hello?
You do that very well.
Although I love that you
You can
do.
all favor me.
Yeah, that's no response.
None.
It never gives you another.
Does it need, do you need to change the
Hey,
battery?
hey, there's been a battery right here.
Switch the battery, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, plug it up to the elf.
Toss it, I'll hand it over to Owen and say, please charge this up. I think it's.
I shake it a bit and I say, oh, I'm sorry. Can't help you. Did my best.
That's awesome.
It's rough.
Broken.
Yeah, I'm trying to ascertain whether I think there's a lot of loot to be had from these people
so-
who may have tragically perished before us.
If you get a little closer to the mouth, you can see that the sloop looks like it didn't break because it like crashed or anything, and the sloop's only about 15 feet long. I mean, it is literally like Reed had said, it's just a handful of people would operate that. It looks like it had been broken up, like it landed and something smashed it. But it is far too deep for it to be the teeth. To mention that to Celeste because she's worried about teeth.
Everyone should be worried about teeth. Just gonna toss that out there.
If you're going to be helmswoman someday in this ship, you have to stop worrying about teeth.
I feel like
We covered a lot out here in
I
this
don't
place.
understand how that translates.
The worm star
Sounds better in Dwarvish.
The worm star is small enough that you could land it in there with relative ease.
We're all going to regret if we haven't spent a little time on the Grand Spectator before I go home to Face Face. So I'm going to attempt to land there.
Don't like this at all.
When I offend you all. If anyone tries to stop me, I'm happy to argue, but otherwise, I want to get a good look at this thing.
Ragran looks bewildered. What's going through your mind right now?
Oh,
Francisco, I would appreciate it if you cleared landings with me first. But, that being said, those are dwarven That's a dwarven ship, which means there be gold on that there ship. And lives to be saved from.
No.
That scream was distress. That is, in fact, directly a distress. I don't think it can be more distressing.
Checks out.
Yeah. Why don't you guys get ready? Please take it in slowly. Don't get us bit by the moon.
Shall I make an arcana check? Yes.
As you steer the arcane energies of the vessel, the wings kind of fold in to try and make it as small as possible.
Everybody's seconded.
Yeah, think thin, think thin.
That's only a 17.
It is not hard to land on something that's huge. I mean, it is
It's a
really,
bigger
it's really big. The Wormstart lands, and when it sits down, because you've set this down on dozens of different plans before, it does land, and it kind of like sort of lands on its legs, and it has to adjust a little, like to get perfect purchase.
Couple 3-point turns.
Yeah.
The equivalent in powers around.
And now you're a lot closer. Everyone can tell the sloop is, it would be repairable, and if there was someone who could if there was another person who could drive a helm, they could, in fact, power it and make it go. But it does look like it has been smashed up, like chopped up almost like with axes.
Like little things, okay, not like.
Not huge
Craters.
things. Yeah, smaller, lots of little attacks, and took this thing into its component parts. And you have the floor. Or the tongue. We'll call it the floor.
Ooh, yeah, I think I'm
It's less growth.
stretching out after working the helm all day. What's the helm?
Well, we better go see if there's anyone to save.
That's what we got.
We better go see if there's anyone to save.
Take my rifle, just lift it over my shoulder, and start to trot.
Right.
You got our back?
Howler does not want to get off this ship. There will be pushing, pulling, prodding. He is super against going into the mouth of a dead beholder guy.
I mean, that seems right. I'm going to cast Speak with Animals so we can actually have a little conversation about this.
Okay.
Hey man, what's the matter? What are you sensing over there?
Evil.
I mean, yeah.
So much evil. Can't you hear it? Can't you smell it?
Your nose. I could hear some voices through the stone. I don't have your senses. And where is the evil at? Is it on the other ship? Is it the entirety?
Deep inside.
Oh, deep inside. I don't feel like we're going deep inside. What?
Oh.
I want to.
Still
I'm
for the
gonna,
benefit of all of us. The evil deep
The
inside.
evil deep inside. It's all a dream.
well, it
That's
sounds like
another good episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, the evil deep inside.
if I go in here without you, there's a good chance if there is this evil that you speak of that I may not return. I need you by my side, partner.
Way to guilt trip the hamster.
Give me a persuasion check, you silver-tongued bastard. You're pulling on my heartstrings.
I'm gonna go ahead and.
This hamster is getting off the goddamn boat. That's what's happening.
All right. 19.
And that's in the episode.
You know what? I like that.
This hamster is getting
Get
off.
off the goddamn.
He is part of you as you as part of he, and he's like, keep you safe.
And that last reassuring pet, I'm actually going to cast protection from evil on him.
There's a shimmer, and he is ready to rock and roll. He's seen you cast that before, maybe on him or otherwise. And he's all right. I will do this. I will come with you, and we will vanquish this evil together.
Yeah. And then I make a bet with him. I say, and I bet you that the big guy with the big boomstick, he ain't gonna make it.
Oh.
Oh.
I thus bardically inspire the hamster.
I don't know if that's necessary.
Well, I'm not saying that I want him to perish, but I have a feeling.
So all we're hearing is like
I like
hamster
it.
noises, right?
Yeah.
Okay, just to be clear.
Yes.
I like waddle up next to the hamster after seeing the problem of like him finding out like, "It'll be fine. Just keep it up a check. Lord, Lord. Yeah!" And I give him a little rub on the head, give him the bardic inspiration, and just kind of go trotting off so that they can like watch me walk close closer to my doom, apparently.
If you only.
There you go.
Yeah, I can't understand anything you said. That's,
But
it would,
there
it
was
would
a
really.
heartfelt conversation in weird chitter speak. Alright, you get off the vessel. Your first thought, because you had it in your head, and Celeste has got it driven in your head, that you've landed on a tongue. That when you step off, that it's going to be like it's going to squish. You know, it's going to have some kind of give. Not even remotely. It's just ground. It's dirt. There might be some gravel, but it's more or less just a big flat plane of ground that leads down a hole. By a hole, I mean it's like 40 feet across. It's more of like a subway tunnel style expanse that you're going toward. There is several sources of light stuck to the wall. People have come here. Like I said, this is an adventuring destination, and people have left continual light torches tacked to the walls that they've made it so that you literally, it's like you're walking down a city street inside of this giant beholder god dead head thing.
Can they like carve their names into?
Oh, I'm sure there's graffiti. I'm sure. I guarantee that there is unmentionable things written here and there for the people who just came here to leave their mark and go, yeah, we made it. Let's get out of here. This place is creepy as hell. There is a sound that permeates the whole place. Anybody who's been in a breezy basement or a natural cavern or something where there's that kind of that low whistle, there is air that blows through the Grand Spectator. It sounds, but it's much longer and drawn out. It's not like deep breath. It goes for 5 minutes and stops. And then like 10 minutes later, it goes again for 5 minutes. You get used to it, but it is really unsettling because you feel like you're in a room that's breathing. What would you like to do, Okru?
Is it, did we not want to go to the other vessel and investigate it?
It's up to you.
Oh, that's the first step.
Let's find some wolves that need a bit of assistance.
Yeah. They may approach their stone.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. The sloop, there's several books and tomes, most of which are either written in Dwarven or there's a lot written in Draconic, as almost like a library, like a scholarly language. It seems like this ship is like a tomb raider, like a treasure finding ship.
Nerds. Yes, we find the nerds.
And you see the term the Brazen Storm Librarians again and again and again. They sign all these things. It's all of these journals, these notes. The ship is technically owned by them, but no sign of the dwarves themselves.
It was like is or was?
Well, now it would be was, because it's technically salvage. But it seems like that's where this came from.
Any diagrams of the place we're in, or other?
There's some hand-scribbled map, but it doesn't look like it's to this place. It looks like there may have been some other stuff that they were doing and then they ended up here.
Can we see any signs of where the wolves might have headed?
As long as they were headed toward the light down the tunnel, you have no trouble finding any kind of tracks. Like there are scuff marks on the ground. Lots of people go this direction. If they decided to go out of the mouth and look around outside on the surface of the Spectator, which would be much more difficult, a lot of climbing involved, that would be harder to track them. But you're pretty sure that, especially if they're just looking at the excavation tools and things that are lying about, they probably are here to go in, not out.
I would like to pick up a little trinket and fiddle with it.
Done. Oh, you have a trinket to fiddle with.
Thank you.
It is a scroll tube that is filled with 105 definitions of how to swim proficiently in the phlogiston in 7 different languages.
Great. I can't read all those languages, so I'm going to turn them all into little origami songs.
Alright. Anyone else doing anything before we venture in?
I'm just watching the area. I'm on my tactician kind of like guard duty.
Going for watch. Give me a perception check. Your passive perception is really high, and it tells you that there is something amiss. You can look a little deeper at the darkness.
Okay. Well, it's not going to be good. I mean, if my passive is 17 and I roll a 2, I don't really see how that's going to help me. Even with a +7, like we're looking here, like yeah, it's a 9.
So you obviously still know there's something's not right here. You're talking to dead dwarves, or well, distressed dwarves.
Yeah.
There are signs of this activity, but you don't believe at this exact place that anything is really out to get you. Nothing out of place aside from what you already found.
No, sir. I don't like it. Let's go in. Not gonna make me like it more.
You first, sir.
Give everyone a swan before we go.
Swan?
Oh, good luck, swans.
Everybody gets a swan. And then I put one on Howler's back as well. Howler gets a swan.
Nice.
As you go deeper into the throat of the spectator, that doesn't sound right. As you go deeper into the cave in the spectator,
Yes.
no, that's
You knew.
As you
were
continue
doing.
forth into the lighted tunnel of the living moon god thing, you do find your first sign of life. It is a basketball-sized eyeball that has been deflated.
Whoa.
Like something has struck this with a mallet or a club or a hammer, and it has let out all of this
Goo.
The tree seeker.
Gross.
The eye, it is set in kind of a stony lid, like a leathery lid, and on the bottom it's got little teeth.
What?
It's like a baby beholder with no stalks, and it is squashed in goo everywhere.
Dead.
You're correct.
Very deceptive.
Is there any like skitter marks along the inside edge of the tunnel?
Give me an investigation check. That's actually a really good idea to take a look.
He looks
16.
up, yeah.
Yep. Good idea. 16.
On the walls, you see it. You go. There's like a. If you're making like some kind of fruit salad, you have a melon baller.
Oh, no.
There's a divot, like a perfectly spherical divot in the wall.
Okay.
And as your eyes kind of unfocus a little bit, you see that there are lots of non-divots, basically raised sections of.
So it all was fire.
It's like the tunnel has got lots of little bubbles on it.
Okay. Do they look mature or?
I mean, they don't look like eyes. They just look like little bubbles.
Yeah. I translate this to all of them.
Game over, man.
Boom.
Yeah.
He's like, nope.
Oh,
The closest one we got.
just kidding.
Uh,
Fire.
Your rifle explodes with smoke and amazingness as always. I'm not gonna make you roll to hit an infantile eyeling when it's sleeping. It explodes.
I
Like,
think it probably wakes me.
it just, like, leathery bits of goo and slime go flying everywhere. It's a satisfying, like, sound. It's just everywhere. Smoke curls up from, like, the thing. And a few of the other ones, like, you get this sort of, like just long enough to, it doesn't open so much as, like, the leather kind of goes back and you get, like, a little darting eye for, like, just for
Extra shot. Boom.
none of them wake up to respond. But it is just executioning beholder babies in here. Like you were just, it is pop, pop, pop. None of them leave the thing. So you can stay here as long as you'd like, murdering beholder babies.
You say that like we're supposed to feel bad about holding beholder?
They're sentient creatures too.
True.
They're just evil.
Yeah, I was about to say, they don't even trend towards any type of neutral. Pure selfish.
I'm not saying that it's a bad thing. I'm just trying to make you feel better.
No, I just said the word, like, it's time.
Yeah, and
This is what I spend the next 45 minutes doing.
I was gonna say it becomes taxing. Like it's almost the first 10. I'm doing a good thing. The next 10, I'm tired.
Oh no, it's gonna get worse. Like this is like Chernobyl. Like I just have to go around afterwards and like take care of the things that I know what my job is. It's fine. I'm not gonna like love it.
Do I notice any motion detection on my track here where the other aliens are coming?
It's like you could grab another gun and help me out, or
didn't want to do anything.
I'll have no part in this.
pull out a pistol and I hand it over to Silver Arm here.
I don't think you want me to touch the guns. I'll just have your drink while you're.
Howler, like, has shied away from all of this explosive activity, but he has not left.
Right, okay, good.
He is still brave hamster. The bravest hamster. After about 20 of these Eilings are brutally executed. A few of them sort of panic and pop out of their sacks
All right.
and sort of slough to the ground. Their levitation isn't even really there yet. Like it just sort of like they're like a couple of inches off the ground. They're trying real hard to get up and get moving.
Tadpoles.
They're
Like sad tadpoles on land.
Yeah.
See, even as an infant, selfishness. Just caring about themselves. Terrible.
So what else have we awakened
I
in
just
the
step
mouth
on
of
them.
this living creature?
Oh, yeah.
The ones that hit the ground, I just walk over and like step on.
I personally hate boba tea, but you know that little pop thing, that's under your foot.
Yep.
I know it is.
It's still satisfying. I like boba tea.
It's like anybody up for a boba? Like it's like ketchup packets squirt on the wall, you know. Yeah. It's excellent.
Here, hold my musket.
Now we got to
Go
the
fast 2000.
He's gonna do a little change.
and then they're done. There are no more. You're pretty sure there are no more. Most of you are hoping there are no more.
Great.
And you may continue down the now much sadder throat of the.
These sentences are bad.
How is the throat sad?
For us.
Oh, we're sad. Or the throat sad?
You're not sad.
I'm not.
The audience is sad.
Oh, the audience is sad. Can I poll the audience?
Are you sad?
Anybody upset about these beholders?
They're misunderstood, okay?
Hashtag dead Eilings. Alright.
I call it germicide, okay? It's not genocide, it's germicide.
So,
We will call you
a little further down the tunnel.
Oh, I'm mouthwash. What is the mouthwash?
Listerine?
I'm Listerine. That's all I did was get in there and like clean out the infection.
You're Listerine.
Who's bravely leading us down this?
I am.
Not Howler.
I am. I'm just going.
I'm Dr. Howard,
I'm
just kind of
scanning.
following along.
Looking for the next sack.
When he moved from all the firepower to the stepping power, Howler actually got a little brave because the smoke is no longer in. He kind of walked and maybe nosed one of the corpses to see
Bravely
what's going on.
nosed.
Yeah, like what is all this? And like, no.
Change my mind.
Yeah, so there will be no eating of Eilings. You know that for future reference, they are not edible.
Thank goodness.
Are they flavorful though?
Do you want to?
You said edible. Just curious.
They're non-toxic and edible. That doesn't make them good.
We'll get them on the way out.
I was hoping they were toxic.
No, they're toxic.
I was hoping.
And the hamster just falls over. No.
Yeah.
Kidding. We're already at the evil. We don't need to worry about hamsters. All right. So at the tunnel, where you head further down, it kind of shifts to one side, like it starts to turn. At the turn, you can see the flicker of light, which you've been used to seeing steady lights. This is the first time you've seen one that seems to kind of be making dancing shadows. How do you proceed?
Is there any things down there I can hear?
Actually, the opposite. Cylinder, like a puzzle. And it's got covered in all kinds of weird symbols.
Oh, nice. Can I fiddle with the puzzle box?
You can. I would like you to make an investigation check, DC 16, with advantage because of madness.
Oh, super. Oh, wow.
Goes on court.
Because you see this and go, oh, the pattern makes sense.
Okay, so 15 investigation. Okay, so the first roll was a 17, and the second one was 14. 17.
Okay? You start fiddling with it and like it kind of, you guys are watching, it's like a kid playing with a toy. You know, she's like
I sit down
spinning.
cross-legged.
Yeah, absolutely. And eventually it makes this kind of pop click, and instinct tells you that you've won.
I did
Something
it.
good has happened.
You guys, I did it! What happened? I won down!
The ends sort of pop off and slide.
Great. What's inside?
A phlogiston map to another location, it says to the quartz hold.
Quartz?
Corpse hole.
Corpse hole?
Corpse hole.
Do you speak Roman?
Nope.
You have no idea what it says.
Yeah.
There's a cool map on
I
there.
found a pretty picture.
A pretty picture, and on the pretty picture, there's a big floaty mountain that has like a dwarf head on it and an axe stuck out of the top of the dwarf head.
Uh-huh.
Like
Floaty
a
mountain.
statue, not like.
Are we gonna go to the floating mountain?
Have I ever heard of this in our,
But it's not inside.
History check. You've been around a long time.
Terrifying undead monster.
It's not
Inside
bad.
it.
Oh, 16.
Yeah, no, there's a legion of librarians. They're basically just treasure hunters and magic item stealers
Yeah.
that run around and gather all the things that they believe that the spheres are not ready to have, and then they put them in vaults and they keep them forever. And this is supposed to be one of their libraries.
Cool.
I'm gonna reassemble the puzzle box for myself.
Make another check.
Madness check.
Another 20.
Oh yeah, you're like, and it goes like this, and hold it upside down. Perfect.
Where's my spare set of keys gone?
What?
Is the other sending stone in this location?
It is actually, yes, it is sitting right next to the guy who died last.
I'll get it for you later.
Do I put it in my ear? Did you hear any of the things that I was saying?
Yeah, you know what? It would be the last thing that you said. It would be on repeat.
Yeah, we're getting that. Who is this? Did you say the same thing?
Yeah, you'll be able to.
Wait, no,
you have both of them now. So
No, they're asking who we are. Hold on. This is the crew of the, hold on. This one.
Something.
Yeah, the crew. Yeah, where are you located? Oh yeah, they want to know where we're at.
I don't know what to do with this.
Go on forever.
It is an eternal beyond loop. We just leave him there talking to himself.
We should take those.
Yeah, they're very useful.
I feel like the right
It's
thing to do
dwarven,
is
right?
to return those
Yeah,
masks.
because I'm speaking in dwarf, so yeah.
Borrow one?
Yeah, absolutely.
We should really go to this library that we definitely shouldn't have a
Is
location.
that the floaty place?
What is your
Let's go to
name?
the floaty place.
Oh, hold on. Let's keep going.
Oh,
There's someone there.
Oh, honey.
What is my, actually, what that's my, yeah.
You guys think I'm the crazy one.
Alright, so
Is there anything around that, looks like it's the next most available exit?
you could probably go deeper into the tunnel. It looks like this is where they chose to camp out because they were probably wounded.
Do I have consent to go deeper?
No.
I don't know what.
It took me a moment, but I got
Hard pass.
Sadly, no, you do not.
Okay.
The grand spectator has no voice to give.
Okay, well.
And you broke Alex.
Thank you very much.
I look around everyone else, and in my eyes, it's the hippopotamus equivalent of, huh? Huh?
Where are we going?
Huh? No?
Yeah, let's go. They're still down there somewhere. I can hear them. They're asking where we're at.
Oh my god.
Head back to your ship.
Oh, clever.
Is that important?
Yeah.
Someone else is on the line.
Your ship is under attack.
It says we need to go back to our ship. It's under attack.
Your
What?
ship is what?
I turn around and
Yeah, that was a knee flying.
Yeah, you are even
No one else
even the
understands.
absurdity of what's going
Yeah.
on, the sheer 1% possibility
Yeah.
that that's true.
Yeah.
Oh,
You speak
Remember to
woman,
get the
right?
masks. Yeah, I do, but just I've left the ship too long.
And gather up as
I
much
took
of
the
the
masks.
So roll for
so
me.
you scoop up everything and Letowin's gone. She's
Yeah.
like,
I just wrote out.
I have a feeling that,
all the things I
what was
can
you just saying?
your pocket's just.
yeah, no, I
You
took
jam.
off running.
Glass
Okay.
I took off first. I'm not even trying to step on any of the things on the way out.
How magnanimous of you.
Oh, it's more just out of like I need to get back to the ship. Yeah,
Is
and
that-
I don't want to slip.
Does
We
that
need
mean I
to
look
reach
up
the
and it's only
ship.
you and me left?
It's not under attack. In fact, nothing has seemed to have changed since you left.
Yeah, but you gotta check to be sure.
Okay,
So
all right,
I'm
all
doing,
right.
I'm doing,
It-
you don't mess around.
well, you know that as soon as you sit in that chair, you will know everything that's going on.
Alright.
You might have to like
Especially what
think
Francisco's
about
doing.
which Francisco has killed the orc.
On purpose?
Well, you weren't there.
He swiped left.
Oh boy.
Sorry, Jim.
Wait.
Apparently so. It's a thing. All right, so no, Francisco is currently trying to
I'll be in the laboratory.
and struggling because this thing is way heavier than what he can carry on his own. He's trying to push it over the railing. Like he's trying to get him to roll down the platform. And he sort of the orc is really dead. It is like ear to
Super
ear.
dead.
This was for all of you combat trained veterans. This is not a combat orc. This was not a he came at me with the bottle. This is a
Have we seen him kill a prisoner before? Because that doesn't really seem economical.
you've always been off ship. And you can tell he's surprised by your return as he starts pushing, goes,
Hey, buddy.
he fell. What's going on? Everyone seems so panicked.
Yeah.
Is everything all right? Are we going to die?
Well, the moon is alive and it wants to eat us. So
She's right.
Really?
maybe we should go before it decides we're.
That sounds like a good idea. Oh, you have treasure. You have salvage.
No.
No.
I just gained a lot of weight and I'm very sensitive about it.
I'm so sorry. Now, who took? Did anyone have any of the masks?
I took all of them.
Okay, so yes, you're mask laden. Okay, and they're tucked away in your
It
scarves and things.
Yeah.
All right, well then, it's like, all right, well then let's be gone. I don't want to be caught on a dead, well, not dead. What's that awful smell?
That's you. Got a little captain on you still.
Don't I always?
I don't, that's up to you, man. I don't know what you're doing.
He fluffed his collar.
Yeah, that's right.
Right. Well then, no, that's definitely Ragra.
Oh no.
That's awful.
Oh, yeah.
And he sees the footprints of horrible that
Yeah.
your GIF is leaving behind everywhere because he's been stepping on islands for 2 hours.
Going to the left.
So
To the head.
he popped some things.
I hate everything that you're doing right now.
Yeah.
Let's be gone. Tell me on the way. And tries to pull you away from as you head down to the helm. What really happened?
Yeah.
Yeah. Despite the fact that you have just killed a prisoner on a ship that I have to inhabit, I will now know everything about that.
He tried to bite me.
Elves.
Did he really?
Yes.
Why?
Inside, I have a, let's see, hold on. Inside I get a bonus 2, I got a 17. 19.
It did try to bite him. Are you doing the brain thing?
Yeah.
It tried to bite him when he tried to start. like it was one of those, he came from behind him and tried to grab him, and it was like, oh gosh, that is quick. So he's not lying.
He only tried to bite him because he was killed.
Get out of my hand.
I don't like it in there. Look, we found you. We need shortly, soon, first treasure.
And he scampers off to the captain's quarters.
Oh, God, buddy. Did I see you had a map?
Yeah.
Now that that's over.
Yeah, that's a treasure.
It's got a floaty thing.
Say it with me. Quartz hold.
Yes, we're going to the quartz hole.
Close enough.
Partially because we are running short on time, we will move forward to the quartz hole.
We did
No,
it.
I will make you have to do the navigations and all that stuff.
It was great. You were
I know.
Thank you.
So long.
And all those dice rolls.
Everyone a natural 20.
So, every single one. So the quartz hole is a big flying mountain, and it's not like an asteroid, like it has an orbit. It actually does. It's technically a spelljamming ship. And there is a helm in there.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah. Oh my.
Do we feel that in the ship?
Life support's getting a little.
Suddenly so much warmer inside the ship.
Over 90.
As you get close to this thing, you can see it way far away, and it is kind of cool looking. It's got a like the face of a big, like those the brazen masks. It's cast in the side of this mountain, and a big, like a pickaxe sort of sculpture that rises up out of the top. It's all just filigree. It basically just makes this thing look funny and cool. But just filigree. But as you get closer, first thing you can dun 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 dun.
Oh my God, can do something!
What do we got?
We can't see it over here, Chris.
My glasses are on my head. I can't read it from there.
Is it gonna be?
We'll give the man some money. And then
Make the right choice.
Make the right choice.
Whatever that is.
his right
Oh no! Horse?
Whatever your compass decides.
Oh, monster. Chaos. Chaos. Oh my goodness. Oh.
That's easy win.
Nice.
All right.
I have a good feeling about that
While
one.
he's counting, I'm going to give you a little bit of knowledge. Everyone who's been a spacefarer for a while, a spelljammer, if you will, exactly. That's you guys. Dwarven ships, because dwarves don't make the arcane, the giant blue alien dudes. They didn't give dwarves access to regular spelljamming helms, mostly because 20 years ago, dwarves didn't with us. So dwarves made their own kind of spelljamming helms called forge helms that allowed them to basically burn magic items to make their ship go. It required them to have some kind of mildly magical person, normally a cleric or a paladin or something, sit in a chair. To steer it, but then they would literally shovel magic items into a furnace to make them go.
That can happen to me.
Which is also why. All right, so the options were: is the furnace hot or the furnace is cold? Nothing's stopping you. So
It's just like silent.
silent, and that even normally when that helm.
I think so.
The options were.
And no, I can still hear your
Is the
arm.
furnace hot or cold? Was the options. And
So-
again, that it's cold.
I can't hear it. It's not on. Ship's not on.
Yeah.
It's not on.
So as you get closer, you can see that there are pieces of broken ship, like smaller ship, wood chunks of galleon. Let's see, it'll be Theon, Hostenback, and Warren. You can recognize pieces of vessels, human ships that you've seen before, like chunks of them. And at least one, there is a big green, like stiff tentacle floating.
Gross.
Which normally that means mind flayers.
Oh.
Their ships all look like squids and things. On the side of the quartz hole, there are these giant, like house-sized pillars and jutting chunks of gemstone that are still kind of flickering with light from the inside. So it seems like the ship, the citadel is not, the quartz hole is not completely, like it's not hulled. It is still there. It's not falling apart. It doesn't look damaged. Like there doesn't look like there's been chunks falling off it or anything. It's just the lights are flickering and there's a bunch of flotsam floating
And
around.
there's only really one piece of flotsam that's anything to do with my face.
So yeah, you've only seen one chunk of a thing.
Chunk of a thing.
Chunk of
And
thing.
it's just floating.
Let's just sort of it got blasted off something. You would definitely see the signs of like on the edge when you kind of turns to the side, similar to like what your bombards and things do. It has not been broken off. It has been blasted off.
I take my pistol and I shoot it.
All right, he shoots a pistol out of space. It's really far away.
That's how damn good I am.
In a few moments, it'll hit.
Based on the size of the damage, can we tell maybe what size of ship it came off of? And if we don't see it now, maybe it got away, or maybe it's hiding on the other side.
You know what? Go ahead and give me an investigation check. That's a good call.
Oh, but I didn't hear it.
Yeah.
So it's not,
Fire it up. I'm
You-
working.
You may not be close enough, and maybe if it's on the other side of the mountain, you can't sense it through the mountain.
The ship mountain? you mean?
Yes.
There's no ships around here.
The 19 plus investigation, 20.
The size of something like this would have it's that tentacle piece by itself is almost as long as your ship.
Wow.
So it came off of
Oh.
something big.
I thought it was like something that came off in front of mind flares.
No, it's a big chunk of like the wooden tentacle of the ship.
Oh, I don't feel as good about being able to hit it.
You still should. That was a hell of a shot, man.
Do we know
What is
enough
this?
about mind
That was
flares?
awesome.
Spacefaring aircraft?
Oh, absolutely.
The healthy fear
So,
of flares on the ship, I think.
So just as a reminder, guys, these guys will take prisoners that will blank their mind and work their large ships.
Yeah.
You should be very careful.
It's a
In fact, we may have a blank mind over
Oh, no.
I assume you're talking about Francisco.
Well, I relate that information. I think that's from a much larger ship.
yeah.
And if it's only that little piece we see floating around here, it wasn't destroyed.
It'd be really hard to hide the rest of that thing.
Right.
Should we take a pass sort of around the structure? And
Sure.
see what's going around?
We can take a pass on the whole thing. Just hell back.
To the
No
ice
treasure
floes.
to our name?
Right. Huh? What?
Aren't you curious about what happened here? A big warrior like yourself?
What if
Think of the
after we
weapons they
take the
have.
stuff, you could blow it up? Wouldn't that be fun?
Francisco pops upset. He's in a silver smoking jacket.
What are you dressed up for?
Did someone say blow that up?
Maybe.
He said after.
Are you in a sort of smoking jacket?
That.
What happened to the orc?
He's no more.
And you went for a smoke?
I went for a rest.
It was hard
He's
work.
so much bigger than me.
That's a silent. There's obviously been a battle here. We know that the dwarves, well, they're sadly gone.
What?
Dead ship. Dead ship floating in space.
Treasure?
Well, we can. It's a ship that runs on magic.
It definitely said blow up after.
So let's. Now, I agree. The idea that there could be squid faces running around is bewildering. But be emboldened, be strengthened by the idea that this could be it. This could be the run, the one that ends it all. We could buy everything.
When I signed on, I recall there being a speech by a captain about leading from the front, not from the captain.
You were allowed to sign on.
If you require the heroic deeds of Captain Francisco Sunset to lead you, big, strong gift that you are, I suppose I can go get my gear.
No, just, you'll disappear into your cabin and never come back.
I can't rightly go in this. This is not an adventuring outfit.
Fabulous.
Let's do it.
You know what? No, I need my armor. I will, I'll be with you momentarily.
And he scampers downstairs, and you can hear him. He's moving shit around in his office, like honk, 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 honk.
Like in front of the door.
I was gonna say.
Fine, what's he doing?
There's like a bunny slipper that's like left in the hallway because he tried to get in there so fast.
He comes back out, and he's wearing like kind of chainmail.
Kind of chainmail?
Can I roll disbelief?
No need necessary. He has like mismatched sets of pieces of armor from other things. He probably took this out of the treasure bin, salvaged from other things. But sure enough, he's got like 2 daggers on his belt, and has a little helm. He's like, all right, let's do this.
Sounds backwards, I'll just.
It's the ears.
When we land, we might do a little bit of cavalry flair.
When you move, when you take the helmet off and turn it around, his bad gnome wig kind of goes with.
Oh no! Captain Sunset has to do. All right.
It was majestic.
Let's go
Into the mountains, sunset.
Hey. All right. So piloting through the flotsam, because the chunks are not big. It's a lot of it's going to bounce off you. Like it'll feel like you're running through a hailstorm. It'll hurts a little. Yeah, you don't love it, but it doesn't do any major damage. And as you land on the citadel itself, on the quartz hole, you can see that there are dozens of dead dwarfs lying all over the place.
Brain sucky.
Well, you'll have to get a little closer to see such images. Dead dwarfs everywhere. That's the name of this episode.
Just lousy with dead dwarfs.
There's lots of dead dwarfs down here.
No squishy.
Most of them are wearing different versions of that brown uniform. Some of them have masks, some of them don't. Some of them have already been armed.
Wow.
Like they might have tool belts and stuff. You know, they were obviously.
As in, the arms got pulled off?
No, however, there are a lot of them that are missing pieces of their head. It looks kind of like like when you peel an orange.
Yeah.
There's a
Oh,
lot.
I'm familiar.
You are well aware.
I've stepped on plenty.
Yeah. Not all of them. Some of them are just dead, like they were cut down by wounds or whatnot. But there's a handful of them that have been extracted upon. Where you at?
Do
Where's the captain?
Oh yeah, crap. Yeah, so Francisco, he hits the ground and is surrounded by dead dwarves. And some have been eaten. You're my expert on dwarves, Sir Warren.
They're dead.
Where?
I can confirm that.
I appreciate that, thank you.
That's it.
Are any of them
Left dead?
salvageable? Can we do something with? I don't know what I'm doing here.
Magic items?
Forge? That's a good idea. He reaches into his collar, shuffles around, and pulls out a fancy monocle. So it'll be a jeweler's loop. You got it, looks around, and
I like reach up towards mine.
you're like, what's up? Yeah, he looks around and he's like, well, they're all devoid of anything magical in any nature. Oh, but down there, as he looks down the hallway, he goes, oh my.
That's the way we should go. Lead on, Master Men-at-Arms.
Sally forth.
You start to hear this this kind of rhythmic pounding. That's not like it's almost like the beat of a drum, but if it was like 20 separate drumsticks, but almost in unison. Like they're not quite perfect, and the quartz lighting, all the little magical light, there's a lot of flickering, is really eerie down here. There's so many more dead dwarves. Like so many. We, as you said, lousy with dead. And you get to this giant, like enormous stone door. It's got all kinds of cool pictures on it and stuff, like the librarians doing librarian things. But
Like the Dewey Decimal System? Like what is the cool
these
thing?
librarians, it's like a dwarven version of Tomb Raider. You know, it's got like, you know, this dwarf in like this cool leather cape that's, you know, doing the, I'm running out with this artifact that there's a boulder falling behind. It's the Indiana Jones of dwarves. These
It
librarians.
has to be a small boulder.
It's a big boulder.
Yeah, but for it to move at a slower pace so the little short-legged dwarf can like get away.
Maybe he's magic. Well, and these are, you know, fictional depictions. This is the myth and legend. But you only get to see that for a few seconds before your eyes are brought down closer to the ground, where there are 5 dwarves pounding on this door. They're pounding on this door, trying and that's that rhythmic sound you hear. They're almost going in unison.
I can hear their brain.
What would you like to do?
I don't speak Dwarvish though. Oh no, but I can telepathically link with them and see what they're.
What if they're, turned?
I would like you to make a Constitution save
Oh,
Alright.
God.
as you reach into.
She's like, my jar's got enough in it. I'm not afraid.
Don't feel good about
You
it.
start to-
It's a 10. I'm gonna try again. 14.
14. All right. So you reach into one of these dwarves to try and like, you know, what's the state of your brain?
What's going on in there, crazy?
What's going on there, crazy dwarf? And you immediately it's almost like feedback that you get, except there is kind of this squeaky little like almost an infantile like whine cry,
Oh God.
like a baby, like a sad baby. Like a
What is this whole episode of baby?
They're sad babies.
There's a little theme here. She said, from inside this dwarf's head.
Sad babies.
Yeah.
Sad babies. They don't look like babies.
That's what their brains are. Sad babies.
I'm assuming it's just more stuff for me to step on.
Yeah. Go step on.
Okay.
Would you all together, as you now have poked the bear, so to speak, even though it's sad baby bear, one of them, the one that was squeaking at you, the little one that was just squeaking at you, he stops beating its thing, and they turn collectively.
Yeah. I'm gonna point at him.
Yeah.
You can tell that they
They're
have
pointing
been
at the
beating-
blunderbuss because I just lowered it.
Yeah. Just pointing at the one.
They
Boom.
turn, and you can see that there's no one home. And they've been beating on this stone door long enough that their hands are basically just dog meat. It is just hamburger. And there's just 10 little blood spots where they've been beating on this door for who knows how long. And you may not find it.
Yeah, I do. That's a lot. There's a lot of deep. What's their AC? Is it more than a lot?
12.
12?
It's 12.
Yeah, no, it's not a lot.
Yeah.
I got that one.
They,
and then
they do not dodge.
second one would still be more than 12. Okay. 2d10. Yeah. Okay.
Well, he's not getting his damage. Do we know if somebody has this room after us on that schedule out there?
Looked like it, yeah.
Hell.
Yeah.
So that's 15 on the first shot.
Okay.
Does that dwarf survive?
No.
Okay.
He just slams against the door, falls forward, and the sort of mucusy kind of spot where his head was open, there was like a leathery swish part that when he hits the ground, it sort of falls open, and this little tiny squidlet wriggles out and just starts flapping around, and then it dies.
Okay, and then 12 on the next one.
Oh, 12 damage? For 12?
Yeah.
Okay.
Damage.
Second one blasts against the thing, falls forward, brains, similar situation. This one flops around a little longer, tries to
I step
gasp
on it.
for yeah, it does. Alright, it sounds like
Sounds like we won all the treasure!
how would, as this is the audience, how would you like us to wrap up these last couple minutes? We could do the combat, but these guys are super easy for them to squash.
Yeah, squish him.
Would you like to ask questions? Would you like to just narrate out how this is supposed to go? What would you like?
All the treasure.
We won all the treasure!
Get all the treasure?
All
Yes.
the treasure.
And then we live to rue the day.
Yes. And then you're all
right,
you
so-
get the treasure, but then you're eaten by mine.
Apparently you slaughter all of the horrible things.
Yeah.
Sounds about appropriate.
On the other side of that door, which is very easy to open once the mine
We
shell.
open the door.
You open the door.
Oh my god, we did it.
The furnace is in fact cold. There is a poor young lady dwarf, the last living dwarf on the vessel.
I fire. And I crit.
And the hamster turns.
And
Oh,
we never brought the hamster with us.
He said on the
He takes out the other shit.
What you don't know is by casting spells on the hamster, he now can drive it. So we didn't get deeper into this, and I apologize. I didn't realize that this was as long as it was, and my amazing crewmates here there were some antics involved. But so the idea is that you guys would have gone into the furnace, found that this last shoveling dwarf, she had shoveled in all of the thunderstones, she shoveled in all the rings of protection. Everything was gone, and they were down to this last item that she didn't want to throw because it's actually like artifact level crazy. And she doesn't want to give it up, but she doesn't want to give up the ship. And then you guys try and talk her away from it. When you get back out onto the vessel, hopefully with the item or with the dwarf perhaps, if you talk her off of...
She's dead.
off of her
Shot in
thing,
the face.
you would then have been confronted by the mind flayers and their Yaggle servants, which are basically like Neanderthal mind flayers. You would have fought them. That would have been the last big shebang. Is you fight them off, and you either get to take their ship, they're with the broken nose piece, and
Which is what that shit is called.
the broken nose piece. It would have been at that point forward, definitely. So yeah, thank you very.
What would have happened if they had consent to go deeper?
They would have had consent to go deeper. There are more islands, except the deeper you go, the more mature they get.
Okay, cool.
So the next stage would have been islands you actually have to fight. and then beyond there are like there are like 1 or 2 stalks in the room. The theory is that if you wanted to, you could just keep on adventuring down until you get into like full-blown like death tyrants and stuff down there. Not the greatest idea.
Seems not great.
But
Yeah, that's not.
it's really unless you're like you have a real big thing against beholders. But
We
the idea is
definitely don't have time for that.
yeah, exactly. Well, of course not. I would have hopefully turned you around before that point. The artifact is a sextant that allows you to basically go from sphere to sphere to sphere, and in theory, have you find the actual original Spelljammer, which is currently missing.
There we go.
That was the whole thing. I apologize that we didn't go quite long enough, but thank you so much for everything.
Thank you guys.
Thanks for coming and hanging out.
Oh, excellent.
This
So,
is not counting the tickets.
so not counting the tickets, which actually goes directly through Gen Con, it sounds like we made $194 for charity today. Nice. I have an extra like 60 in my account from stuff earlier this week. So awesome. Thank you guys so much. We'll set this up, and if this is something that you guys enjoyed, please let Gen Con know. I want to keep doing these. I'm going to do these at other events. Maybe get some of these guys back. I don't know. We'll see. But more than anything, I would like a round of applause for my crew. This is only a 3-hour thing, so.
Well, there you have it. I wish I had like another hour to get into some of that cool stuff after the that I was talking about at the end there. I know now that when I do a charity event, I need to try and set it up for 4 hours instead of 3. But we had a great time, and hope you guys didn't mind there was a couple of places where some not so PG-13 material came through. But I can't rein in the actors. They do what they do. But it was a lot of fun, and we ended up raising a little over $400 for the charities, for the Gen Con charities. It was a really good event, and I plan on doing more of them. We'll talk more about that next week at the overall Gen Con wrap-up video that I do for next week. So for now, just take a breath, hug your loved ones, and play some games.